Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ariel Helwani Show!
The Ariel Helwani Show is back in your life on this Monday, November 25th, 2024. Did that sound familiar, Frank?
Yeah, man. What are we doing?
You didn't like it?
I mean, it was great. It gave us all a little bit of a scare.
No, I
loved it.
I said I had something special for all of you. A lot of people have been telling me. No, a lot of people have been telling me they missed the. They thought the back in your life was too abrupt. Did it not work, guys? I've been working on that all week.
I am in favor. That was
smiled?
Good. I loved it.
Did it bring back good memories?
Nostalgia on 10. It was fantastic.
It doesn't feel quite the same because I used to say like Mixed Martial Arts Hour, Ariel Helwani Show. I think it kind of works, no?
No, it flowed perfectly, man.
Sounds like Frank didn't like it. Frank, your thoughts?
I loved it.
Frank's had a tough
Let's
morning.
do it again.
Rick, your thoughts?
That's a no for me.
Really? Wow.
Haters.
Why?
Haters.
Why? Too old school?
Yeah, just we're in the new era now. It's
No.
the new
You
deal.
can bring that over.
Can I ask the chat? Maybe we could get a poll up there. What did you like better? Let's see what they're saying. Thumbs up to the chat. Thumbs up to the chat. Yeah. I think some people are saying they like it. We love it. All right. So there you go. Maybe we could get a poll and get an official reading on it. But I actually was working on that more than the iron incident of 2024.
Iron!
There it is. Is that the new one or the old one? I can't tell.
Then you'll always wonder that.
Yes. Anyway, hello, everyone. And look at this setup. I'd be remiss if I don't acknowledge it off the top. I mean, I think, dare I say, I think this is GC's best work. GC, agreed or disagree? I mean, I feel like
It's up there. It looks good.
You knocked it out
I
of the
didn't know
park.
what I was going to do this morning coming into it, but I'm happy with it.
I mean, you freaking nailed it. You got a turkey over there. You got a pumpkin over there. You've got a bunch of leaves here, which I love. I love the fall-like colors. Turkey here. One of my favorite little details is the turkey hat over there, which replaces the war hat, which I think is a nice little touch. Everything. Pumpkins here. Of course, you can see the screen is different. The screen on the table is different. The screen on the table reminds me of the Today Show on Thanksgiving. It looks like the peacock, but in Thanksgiving colors, which is a compliment, by the way. I hope you don't take it any other way.
It's supposed to be a turkey, not a peacock.
Yeah, I know, but it looks like the peacock.
Yeah. I still got to update back here. I still got Macau up.
Yeah, you got to update that. Yeah. A pumpkin pie, is that in the bug over here?
Yeah,
no, over there?
Pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie, however you feel.
I love it. What do we got? Pumpkin? Like, what do you prefer, pumpkin or sweet potato?
I'm pumpkin, for sure.
And of course, we are all still buzzing after the pound-for-pound rankings from the Boys in the Back program where you guys ranked your favorite Thanksgiving dishes. We can go over some of that, but a lot of chatter, a lot of discourse surrounding that. So anyway, we'll be rocking this all week because, of course, it is Thanksgiving on Thursday here in America. It was Thanksgiving on Monday, I think it was October 12th. What was our first day? Our first day was the 14th. Yeah, it was October 14th. 12th was that Better Be a Bibble fight. So yes, in Canada, it's the second Monday in October. Here, it's the last Thursday. And I do think, by the way, that they're starting to push the issue a little bit. Like, my kids have off Thursday, Friday, half day Wednesday. And I feel like we're moving towards like no school Wednesday at this point. And I was even talking to Jerry, my agent. His kids have half day Monday, Tuesday, no school Wednesday. I mean, it just seems like a lot.
My whole life growing up, I was no school Wednesday.
Is this why you keep complaining about the Wednesday show?
Yeah.
Why is that a holiday?
Sacrilege.
Why is that a
I
holiday?
don't know. You get the 5-day weekend.
Bro, 5-day weekend for what? It's a one-day holiday.
It's Thanksgiving, man. Come on. Have some respect.
Stuff.
I love Thanksgiving. I love it. Probably my favorite holiday because it's non-denominational. Denominational.
Yeah, you got it. The first
Yeah.
time.
No religion attached. Just good times, giving thanks, and being grateful for everything we have in our lives. Grateful that Andy is back in full force on this Monday. Great to have her back. Thumbs up to Andy. Thumbs up. Wasn't the same without her on Thursday. And, of course, we have a lot to get into
I'm alpha.
Yeah, on this particular Monday. That man is going to be joining us, one of our favorites, and obviously a man who knows a thing or two about pecan pie. The great Rampage Jackson, Quentin Rampage Jackson, will join us on today's program. He'll join us at about 2:45. A lot to talk to Rampage about. First time in the new era that he's on the program, so I'm looking forward to that chat very, very much. We will talk to Chris Weidman, who has been rebooked for UFC 310. That is December 7th. Not this weekend, next weekend, against Eric Anders at 195. We found out about this back end of the week. Wanted to have him on last week, but it was still kind of up in the air. And so we'll talk to Weidman about what happened. He was supposed to fight at MSG. Anders got sick, and now they're going to run it back, so to speak, on the final pay-per-view of the weekend, or of the year, I should say, when it comes to the UFC. That's next weekend. And Eddie Alvarez is going to join us. The great Eddie Alvarez will join us at 3:30 to talk about his return to the Bare-Knuckle ring on January 25th. That is coming up in a month and a half or so, a little bit more than that. Actually, 2 months from now. I'm moving a little quickly here, and that's the big one. Okay, so I was about to say headline by Jeremy Stephens versus Eddie Alvarez, but I'm actually starting to hear that it might not be the headliner and that they're going to add a bunch of big fights, that it's going to be maybe their best offering yet. It's Knucklemania 5, January 25th, their debut in Philly, Wells Fargo Center, which is a great arena. And there's a press conference tomorrow. Maybe we find out. I don't know if we'll find out, but maybe we find out more about that card because, they typically treat these Knucklemanias like their big Super Bowl, their WrestleMania. So let's see. If they've got something bigger than Eddie fighting at home for the first time since Bellator 33 way back when, that could be a very special card. Perhaps Mike Perry will be on the card, and Mike Perry was in the news this weekend. We're going to get into all the news of the weekend. First part of today's show, there's a lot that happened. Obviously, UFC Macau, Petr Yan defeating Deiveson Figueiredo about 8 months after ACL surgery, turning back the clock. He looked fantastic against Figueiredo, 50-45 on all three judges' scorecards. Hopefully you saw it. It was very early in the morning here in the United States, midday in Europe. It was in Macau, like I said, Macau, China. And a pretty solid card if you watched it. And that was an important fight in the bantamweight division, and all kinds of chatter in the aftermath between Yan and Merab, and of course Umar Nurmagomedov, who we presume is the number one contender at 135 pounds. So a lot of that is to come. We will talk about all of that. But the big news of the weekend, if you will, and the big news since we last spoke is, of course, the Conor McGregor news. This all broke on Friday, and I do have to give a special shout out to Pete Carroll, to Ben Folks, to Chuck Mindenhall, who jumped on live. The Crack is live now. They jumped on the Crack literally an hour after a verdict was reached and announced. And that's not easy. It's not easy talking about this. It's easy to react to fight news an hour after, or a press conference, or a fight. But it's not easy to react to something that is this heavy and sensitive an hour later, especially when we're not legal experts and this is not our domain. But obviously, it's a gigantic news story because it is, it is about the biggest star in the history of the sport. And so I do want to give them a shout out. And if you want to watch their conversation, which was an hour on this and the aftermath and comparing it to Mike Tyson back in the day, I do think it's really worth your time. And that's up on the YouTube channel and on our podcast feed. I want to read the article that PT wrote on uncrown.com because, again, I don't want to get any of the verbiage wrong. This was a civil case, and so because it's a civil case and not a criminal case, there's just stuff that I'm not well versed in. But this is the actual information that came out Friday afternoon, Friday evening in Dublin. Conor McGregor has lost to his sexual assault civil case in Dublin. A high court jury awarded damages of $248,603.60, which equates to about $259,149.36 to Nikita Hand. That was the woman, the Irish woman who was accusing him of sexually assaulting her against McGregor on Friday after ruling that she was sexually assaulted by the former UFC champion in a Dublin hotel in December of 2018. Hand, 35 years of age, claimed she was raped by McGregor and another man named James Lawrence in a penthouse suite at the Beacon Hotel, which is in Dublin. The jury found that Lawrence did not assault Hand. Damages of 188,603 were awarded, and that's euro, were awarded to Hand, with an additional 60,000 euro also added, making it a total of 248,603 and 60 cents. McGregor was accompanied to the court by fiancée Dee Devlin, with whom he has 4 children, for the first time during the trial's 2-week proceedings. To hear the jury's decision on Friday, several of McGregor's family members were also present at the High Court. Reports from the court state that the jury took 6 hours and 10 minutes to come to their decision. Leaving the court at approximately 5 p.m. local time, McGregor declined to make a comment as he was swarmed by the waiting media. He has since tweeted. I will get to that in a moment. The case was a civil case, not a criminal case, meaning the assault is deemed a civil wrong and therefore the plaintiff is entitled to compensation. However, McGregor will not face criminal sanctions. Hand was forced to move after her property was reportedly invaded in June by a group of masked men wearing balaclavas and wielding weapons. Multiple Irish national outlets reported Friday in the aftermath of proceedings at Dublin's High Court. The men also stabbed Hand's partner and broke the front windows of her house, according to the reports. Outside the court, following Friday's verdict, Hand gave a statement to media thanking her legal team, the Rape Crisis Center, her family, and friends. So the rest of the article you can read. It's quite lengthy, and I do suggest that you read all the coverage on uncrowned.com. But those are the nuts and bolts. Almost, 30 or 40 minutes after this news broke, Conor McGregor did tweet that he is planning on appealing the verdict. I will be appealing today's decision, he wrote. The judge's instruction and the modest award given was for assault, not for aggravated or exemplary damages. I am disappointed that the jury did not hear all the evidence that the DPP reviewed. I'm with my family now, focused on my future. Thank you to all my support worldwide. I did reach out to Conor's team and ask them if they were in fact going to move forward with the appeal, because I noticed that tweet had since been taken down, deleted, but I have not heard back yet. Based on the stuff that I've read and listened to, and there's been a lot of, I think, fair and balanced coverage coming out of Ireland from all the national media, he does have 28 days to file an appeal. So the clock is somewhat ticking. That's 4 weeks, and that would be, around the end of December. He did tweet a couple more times regarding the verdict. This one is a lengthy one, which I also do believe was taken down in the aftermath. At the very end, he wrote, "This is not a court of hard evidence and truth. It is a kangaroo court of opinions and feelings. We are not done yet, not by a long shot, no chance. On we fight. Justice and truth will prevail. Appeal, 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 as well as other. Congrats, James. Onwards and upwards." That is James Lawrence that he's referring to, his friend who was also accused, but deemed not civilly liable in the verdict. I think that was the only tweet, the only other tweet from him. Was there another one? Am I wrong? There was one more, okay, I'm being told, and I think that one was eventually also taken down. He retweeted an RTE news story saying falsely accused a man of rape and loss. Justice was served for James Lawrence. Yes, deplorable what they done. Nikita Hand, vicious liar, appeal. So it sounds like he wants to appeal, unless someone has told him since not to do that or not to talk about it anymore. Who knows? We did see today, so you wonder about like the trickle-down effect here, right? Because obviously, since it's a civil case, there's no criminal charges, but it's not just the money that he's being told to pay Nikita Hand. It's also what could come from a business standpoint. And one of his business partners, the game Hitman, released this statement on Twitter this morning. It's a game that apparently Conor is a downloadable character in light of the recent court ruling regarding Conor McGregor. IO Interactive, which is the producer of the game, has made the decision to cease its collaboration with the athlete effective immediately. We take this matter very seriously and cannot ignore its implications. Consequently, we will begin removing all content featuring Mr. McGregor from our storefronts starting today. And so that would be, I would say, the first and probably the biggest, at least as of now, domino to fall since Friday. I mean, all of this happened Friday evening. It's now around the same time Monday, so not a ton has happened in terms of news pertaining to this because it was the weekend. But I did want to bring in our own Pete Carroll to talk more about this because it just so happens that he lives in Dublin and all of this transpired just several kilometers from where he lives. And so he certainly has his finger on the pulse and has been able to read and see all the reaction and obviously talk to everyone back home about what is going down and where Conor goes from here. And so first, as far as the nuts and bolts, Pete, and again, well done to you and Ben and Chuck on Monday, immediately reacting to all of this. Did I miss anything that was glaring? Did I miss an important detail in all of this? Oh, you are muted. You have to unmute yourself, Pete. I heard Frank lambasting you for not muting yourself before the show, and here it has come to roost. Apparently,
Stuff.
Yeah, it has come to roost. So let me know when you do unmute yourself. Is he unmuted?
Stand by for us.
It's just a quick little button there, right? We'll reconnect with him.
Yeah, I'm going to reconnect with him, please.
All right, working through the kinks. It's that new microphone, isn't it?
He's on the old one.
He went back to the old one.
Yeah.
But it's a new camera?
It's a new camera, but I'm going to talk to him real quick.
All right. This is what Nikita said outside of the courthouse. I want to thank my daughter Freya. She has given me so much strength and courage over the last 6 years throughout this nightmare to keep pushing forward for justice. I want to show Freya and every other girl and boy that you can stand up for yourself if something happens to you, no matter who the person is, and justice will be served. To all the victims of sexual assault, I hope my story is a reminder that no matter how afraid you might be, speak up, you have a voice, and keep on fighting for justice. I know this has not only impacted my life, but my daughters, my family, and friends tremendously. It is something that I will never forget for the rest of my life. Now that justice has been served, I can now try and move on and look forward to the future with my family and friends. So that was part of her statement immediately afterwards outside of the courtroom. Like I said, Conor didn't speak to media. There were a ton of people surrounding him, but he did go on X immediately afterwards. We have not seen Conor fight since July of 2021. Of course, he was supposed to come back in June of this past year, didn't fight, and Dana White saying recently that the plan is for him to fight in the back end of 2025. I did ask Pete a few times when he was on the show talking about this, like how much is she asking for? What are they seeking in terms of monetary damages? And did find out in the aftermath that it was approximately 1.7 million euro. I do believe $1 million for damages and 700,000 for the moving houses, because as I was talking about earlier, there was the incident at her home. And so in the end, she did not get that. In the end, it was a little more than 248,000. So a big difference. But she did also say that this wasn't about the money for her. So we will see, we'll see what happens if in fact Conor does appeal, this gets dragged out. And who knows how long it will actually last, because this is an incident that happened in December of 2018, and we're only now reaching this point 6 years later. Do we have Pete? What is going on?
Negative.
We do not have him.
Yeah, we'll get him in just 30 seconds.
Okay. So that is the nuts and bolts of it all. Like I said, a lot of people have done a great job of covering this case, and you've seen a bunch of it on social media. I've seen a bunch of it on podcasts and YouTube and whatnot. And there's no other way to slice it. It's a very upsetting and disturbing development as far as the the story of Conor McGregor goes, and you do wonder how this will affect his future. Now, it comes about 7 days after Mike Tyson was fighting on Netflix and celebrated and has turned into Uncle Mike and beloved. And he is someone who actually went to jail and was accused and convicted of rape. And look how far he has come in 30 years. Not to suggest that the same thing is going to happen and that the two cases are exactly the same. They are not, but the timing is interesting, if nothing else. It is amazing, as someone who grew up in the 90s and was well aware of Mike Tyson. I remember when he was brought in. I remember the handcuffed, shot of him. I remember all of this stuff. It is amazing to see how far he's come in about 30 years. It's really incredible. And so we see what happened to him, and obviously with Conor, he is vowing to fight back. And I see that there is support for that, and people saying that he wasn't given a fair shot. So it continues to develop, and we continue to monitor it. I do believe that we have Pizzi now. We try this again. Pizzi, you there?
I am indeed. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, wonderful. Working through the kinks. You just have to press that microphone with the line through it.
Listen, let's not get into it, mate. All right, let's not get into it.
Well, I don't know if you heard my initial question when you came in. Did I miss anything in talking about all this? And I've said some more stuff since you left, but in general, do you think that I missed any pertinent details?
I would say the only thing that I think we should point out is that Nikita Hand, when this information came out about her house being under attack, in no way did Nikita Hand's legal team suggest that McGregor had any involvement with that. What their argument was that McGregor's support is so fierce in Ireland that some of the supporters may have been driven to do this off their own initiative. That's the only thing I noticed.
Okay, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. And so, what new? I read your article that you posted on Friday. You guys spoke on Friday. What's the temperature been? Anything new since then? As of right now, we don't know if he is in fact going to appeal. Right? I said I reached out to his legal team, didn't hear back. And those tweets have been taken down. I don't know if that's a suggestion that he's not going to. That happens quite often with Conor, with all sorts of things, fight-related, benign things. But what new, if anything, has happened since Friday's verdict?
Well, apart from the story about her home being broken into, the story really on the Sunday papers, as you know, they kind of wrap up the week. There's a lot more opinion involved in them. There was a lot of praise for the bravery of Nikita Hand. Like, we even saw the Taoiseach, our equivalent of a prime minister, coming out and commend her for going through this process at an incredible risk to herself, given that, they've waived anonymity basically by going to the civil court. As McGregor retweeted himself, the Minister for Justice also came out and commended her. There is an awful lot of talk about the bravery. There's huge public support for Nikita Hand, the person who accused both Conor and James Lawrence of sexual assault in December 2018. You mentioned the Hitman game. The Dublin Rape Crisis Centre have also called in a boycott of all Conor McGregor products, which has been largely publicised through the Sunday newspapers and online. And there's actually, as we speak, there is a solidarity march for Nikita Hand taking place on Dublin City Centre on Dame Street, which is one of the main roads in Dublin City Centre. So,
and you're saying that's happening right now, or it's being planned for?
No, it was due to kick off at 6 o'clock today, as far as I've seen reports.
And as far as the media, 6 o'clock today, that is quite literally right now.
Yes.
It's 6:26. What about the media coverage?
The media coverage has been scathing of McGregor, to say the least. A lot of it is focused on the bravery of Nikita Hand, taking on this, a massively famous sports star. A lot of it is about, the verdict, the damages being settled on Thursday. Obviously, we have the court will sit again on Thursday to decide who is paying the fees here. It's a very confusing situation in that Conor McGregor has been found liable for assault but the co-accused James Lawrence hasn't, and that's a very confusing situation for a lot of people, because in most of these cases you will find that the person who loses is usually on the hook to pay the fees of the lawyers. But Han's situation is unique in that she has the jury has found McGregor liable, but not James Lawrence. So everybody very intrigued to see what happens on Thursday, including McGregor, who tweeted about this and later deleted it in pertaining to James Lawrence and his situation.
What do you think happened? I mean, I'm putting you on the spot here, but do you think he actually appeals? And if he does appeal, what is that process like? Because I know your system is different than ours, and I also want to say you are not a legal expert, so I'm putting you on the spot. But like, are we looking at another 3-4 years if this goes into appeal and the appeal is granted? How does this work?
As far as I know, like, I think a lot of people are looking at this appeal like it would be kind of a rematch of sorts, like they just go back through the whole situation again. But my understanding is that it isn't that. You would have to have an objection to protocol, not, a legal protocol not being followed during this trial. And obviously, as we just said, I'm not a legal expert. I wouldn't be able to pinpoint anything like that. And also the appeals can largely pertain to the amounts of money that are changing hands here. And in Han's case, I think a lot of people, including Ben Folks and Chuck, who we talked on Friday, a lot of people were surprised that it was such a low number. I've since listened to Frank Graney, who's on with Luke Thomas, who's on with News Talk. He's one of the most revered court reporters in Ireland. He described that there's 4 different brackets in which the damages would have been broken down into general, special, aggravated and punitive. General would have been the 60,000. Special would have been the 188,000. We had testimony from people breaking down potential losses of earnings. Nikita Hand would have been subjected to. She had a budding career as a hairstylist. They kind of found the 180 odd thousand in that category. They could have given more again for the aggravated damages, but they chose not to, and the punitive damages, which could have been a lot more money, but the jury chose not to go down that road.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. Like, I don't even. How do they even come up with such a number, as opposed to the number that they're seeking? Like, what is the calculation there? How do they even do that? What's the calculus?
Well, it is based on these 4 divisions, as far as I know. The general would have been focused on, and this is according to Frank Graney, this is not my own intel. The general would have been just about the trauma, the mental anguish, the situation she was put in, being a subject to a lot of publicity. The special would have been more to do with the amount of money she was missing. She said she couldn't go back to work, and again, we heard testimony about this. The aggravated I heard was to do with, like, if the person has been found liable, like, are they apologetic? Words like re-victimization were used, publicity, which all seem to kind of fit in to what we saw over the last 3 weeks with Nikita Hand and Conor McGregor, but they were not aware in that situation. Punitive, as far as Frank Graney has said, would have been to send a larger message, like, to society. Like, this cannot happen. We need to draw a line in the sand here. We need to show an extreme level of displeasure with this situation to do punitive damages. And that could have been a lot more money than Hand had originally looked for, which has been reported as 1.7 million in the aftermath of the case.
Like I said, I thought you and Chuck and Ben did a great job of not sort of comparing this to the Mike Tyson situation, especially since he's been in the news so much as of late in 2024. Who would have thought? What do you think happens? Let's presume he fights again in 2025, as Dana White says, back end of 2025. What do you think happens? What do you think the reception will be? Obviously, the fight won't be in Ireland. It will be, most likely in Las Vegas. But how do you think he will be covered, talked about, etc.? What does this do for him as far as being an athlete and somewhat of an ambassador of Irish sport?
I think it would probably be very badly received in Ireland, if I'm honest. But I do see support from McGregor. I mean, we'd be silly not to say, like, all of these tweets he put out were viewed by millions of people. Yeah. We've seen Andrew Tate and these guys come out and support him as well. So there is a strong support for him somewhere. I haven't noticed that much in Ireland, if I'm being particularly honest. And if you looked at the Sunday papers, you wouldn't have thought there was any. Even outside of the papers, Grip Media have been more sympathetic, I'd say, to McGregor during the case than a lot of the publications. But even their editor put out a piece today that said that regardless of how you feel about the outcome, McGregor has shown himself to be an awful human being during this court process. So, and that was one of the talking points in all the publications as well, how McGregor carried himself on the stand. People were mentioning like a kind of lewd comments, gestures with his hands, stuff like this. I don't think it would be received well in Ireland, but there's certainly still a fan base there for Conor McGregor. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and so let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with this protest that you're talking about. Let's see if, I feel like a lot of this is still up in the air, and the biggest question of all is, will he in fact appeal, right? Because if he does go through that, that's more time, that's more money being devoted to all of this, and that to me is the biggest indication as to whether or not he thinks that he is being falsely accused, and the verdict was incorrect. If he doesn't, then that kind of says it all, right? That kind of ends that. But it can't, by the way, go back to now. Here in America, if you're charged in a civil case, like the most famous one probably is O.J. Simpson, that was after his criminal case. It can't go back to criminal. I'd imagine that's the same thing in Ireland. Yes.
Absolutely, and everybody who's commented on this talked about like the higher burden of proof it would have taken for the DPP to bring this to court. Obviously, one of the big arguments from McGregor's side of things was the inconsistencies in Nikita Han's initial report, in contrast to what we saw on CCTV. There's also, a lot was made of her lying to her partner at the time. While she was there were several text messages sent to her partner at the time saying she was fine, she wasn't under duress, anything like that. So that was a big part of their counter-argument to Nikita Han. And you could understand, based on what the jury saw, images of Nikita Han, which she found very difficult to look at. She couldn't remember anything. She couldn't recognize the person she was watching, but essentially cozying up to James Lawrence, hugging McGregor before he left. You could imagine that with the DPP, when it's not on the balance of probabilities, which a civil case is, it's beyond reasonable doubt. Certainly, you'd imagine the DPP looking at footage like that and saying, this may present some doubt in this equation. But to Nikita Han's credit, according to Frank Graney, a lot of people would have stopped their pursuit at that point. And had they gone the civil route, they would have been told that they will likely lose a lot of money going in this direction, but she kept on it. And that is really the narrative that's being forged in the newspapers and the mainstream media, that like this was exceptionally risky for her to go down. If she was simply looking to gain money from this situation, this would have been a terrible route to go. And yet she still went through it, and she came out with with the jury deciding that McGregor was liable for assault on that night and James Lawrence was not.
It is, in retrospect, the fact that it went this far, and ultimately that she, that the verdict was essentially in her favor. And again, I'm sorry if I'm not using the correct terminology here. It is crazy. Maybe crazy is not the right term, but like that the DPP didn't even allow it to go to a criminal case. You know what I mean? That it never even got there, right? Didn't they just say there was not enough evidence, and it kind of just ended there?
Yeah.
That's obviously a massive difference.
Yeah, it's. I believe that the stat I read during this case is that only 14% of rape accusations brought to An Gardaí Síochána, the police in Ireland, are brought to criminal court by the DPP due to that high burden of proof. And in saying that, Frank Graney, this court reporter that I've heard speak a lot in the last days, and he's absolutely outstanding. He is a correspondent for News Talk. He said it was, in fact, quite rare for someone to go this way in a complaint like this, like Nikita Han's. So I assume that she would have been told on this journey that there's a strong likelihood that this does not go your way.
All right, so let's see what happens here. I wanted to bring in New York Rick, get his thoughts on all of this. We've had a chance to weigh in to some degree. Rick, as far as the future, like I asked PT that question when he fights again, for the greater MMA community, not just the Irish MMA community and Irish MMA fans, how do you think this will play out? How will he be received, in your opinion?
Yeah, I can't I can't escape the feeling that this will color everything. Like, this feels like a demarcation, right? This feels like an event that cannot be removed, that will color all the conversation from now on. I wonder what his words are about this if he ever returns to fighting. I wonder what the UFC will say, if anything at all, about this. I imagine that the fans are wanting something to be said about this, one way or another, right? I don't think that necessarily the UFC it would be good business for them to necessarily condemn Conor McGregor, but you do wonder if they even have an opinion at all, if they even have a thought at all that somebody on their roster has now been found liable for something like this. You wonder what impact that will have. You wonder what impact that will have on sponsors. You wonder what impact that will have on the wider business, the combat sports business, how fighters are viewed. There are a lot of implications here that I think we're still fresh in this, and obviously Conor McGregor has expressed his intention to appeal this, and so this is not a completed story yet if he does follow through on that. But I think there will be ramifications and widely felt for this. I do wonder when we start to see and feel and hear these things. But I should obviously note, first and foremost, like, there are victims in this scenario, and that is the most important thing. But the future of Conor McGregor is something that we cover as a combat sports outlet, and that is where we're at.
I mean, this is unfortunately a type of story that we've seen quite often with the likes of Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis, all different varying degrees. There's domestic violence, but these sort of uncomfortable conversations about fighters and about superstars, and then you wonder how they are going to be received, covered, whether the public will buy the tickets, buy the pay-per-views, all these things. So unfortunately, not the first time that we've been met with something like this. And Mike Tyson, probably the most famous example of them all. So let's see where it goes from here. I guess it continues to develop, even though a verdict was reached. And let's see if he does plan to appeal, and then where he goes from there, because that is going to be the next big domino, I presume, to fall. So that was the story that came out on Friday. Unfortunate news, to put it mildly, disturbing news, and honestly, when you read some of the details from her testimony in particular, it's disturbing. It's not a great listen. It's a very uncomfortable and just disgusting stuff that you wish no one was subjected to. So very unfortunate, but again, great job by PT and the team, and him in particular, covering it all. No great way to transition from something like that, and if something pops up in the middle of the show, we will definitely bring it to you or throughout the week. Do want to also let you know that there is no crack on Friday, no Boys in the Back on Thursday because of Thanksgiving. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, AH show, and then we break for the Thanksgiving holiday. So sort of like my kids' school and all the schools here in America. And then we'll be back on Monday for the final stretch of UFC action. And there's only 2 fights left this year. And then we get into like a bit, this is the closest thing that we have to an off season in the UFC. Like, there's the event this past Saturday, Macau, and then no event this weekend, and then the pay-per-view on the 7th, and then the Tampa show on the 14th, and then nothing on the 21st, nothing on the 28th, nothing on the 5th, and I believe nothing on the 11th as well, or sorry, the 6th or the 4th, sorry. You get the point. Bit of a, let me just double check that. Oh, there is an Apex, but still, I mean, it's a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there. It's the closest that we have to an off season, if you will, in the UFC. The 11th is the fight night. 18th is the 3/11 pay-per-view. Macau on Saturday morning saw Petr Yan, as I say, somewhat turn back the clock. He had come back and won relatively recently. About, what was it? When was that fight against Song Yadong? That was in March. But then, had ACL surgery per his management team, Danny Rubenstein, and comes back and beats Deiveson Figueiredo 50-45. I know GC was hyped about it. Your thoughts, GC, on Petr Yan's performance against Figueiredo, who was the former flyweight champion and 3-0 since moving up to 135. He had been on quite a run and coming off maybe his best performance against Marlon Vera, 3-0 in the span of essentially 8 months, dating back to his debut at 135 back in December.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was what you said. It was a vintage performance from Petr Yan. The way that he mixed it up, how good that he looked in the striking, and to do all that to Deiveson Figueiredo was simply incredible. It proved that he can still compete at the top level, that he is a title contender. And I see a lot of people, maybe even you, calling that he should be next for the title shot. So I thought this was a really important moment to prove that he was still at the top of the division. And he did that in a massive way. 50-45 across all three judges' scorecards. And he looked great, man. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, very, very, I was not expecting that. I didn't know how the fight would go, but considering the injury, considering, Figgy looking so good, I wasn't expecting that kind of dominance. It doesn't necessarily tell the full story of the fight, right? 50-45.
Right, it felt closer than that.
Right.
Like when they read the scorecards off, I was like, oh, damn, all three, 50-45. But I guess if you go back and watch round by round, Yan was doing the better work across each round.
And so the question is, was that enough to put him as the number one contender? Because afterwards, he called for it. And afterwards, Merab Dvalishvili seemed to really like the idea, specifically calling for March. In fact, we do have some of this stuff. Merab, Yan, and Umar, and really Merab and Umar in particular were really going at it. Merab, in the immediate aftermath, tweeted, "I'm impressed Petr Yan's performance tonight, / UFC Macau." And then he later posted...
We actually have the video that he posted for Yan.
All right, let's go.
With the last poster.
Here we go.
Great fight, Peter. I like your call out and I like your respect. Let's go again after 2 years. March 8th. T-Mobile. Let's fucking go.
Merab very excited. Obviously, that was the poster from their first fight in March of 2023. Your thoughts on that? Because I was joking in the group chat that you guys aren't ready.
Yeah, we're not ready for the conversation. I'm fully prepared for the conversation, but I'm just not sure that Petr Yan earned a title shot with that. I know he had a great performance against Son Yadong as well. Before that, he did lose 3 straight and 2 of the last 3 champions. And when he did fight Merab Dvalishvili, it was a 50-45 in the other direction. Merab blanked him, and it really wasn't even competitive. I think you put fresh blood in there. You give Umar the title shot. He's 18-0. He's undefeated. He's got their Nurmagomedov last name. He did get a big one over Corey Sandhagen. You see if he can beat Merab Dvalishvili. And I think you book Petr Yan, Sean O'Malley 2. Winner of that gets the winner of Merab and Umar.
Yeah, by the way, what's all the chatter back there? What's going on?
Oh, Frank, he's in it today, man. We're working through the kinks.
Is everything okay?
Everything's good.
Never been better.
Well, I mean,
never been better back.
Louder than usual. That's
so about that Merab thing. So what I like.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
The problem is, is it not that the first fight was just Rob's calling for it, but the fight was so one-sided.
Yeah. It's 100% that, but it's also the fact that you want to see the champion being somebody who, and I believe truly that Merab is this type of person to accept all challengers, not to be the one to be picking the challenger, right? Not to be saying, Yan, great performance, you just fought, now I'm the one who's calling you out, when it seems like he's already tried to angle for the O'Malley rematch, when it seems like now Umar is in play and probably in the driver's seat for that. I just want to see Merab just take the next challenge, I get it. I totally get it. But again, the Yan fight was not competitive. There's not really a story there.
Merab handled O'Malley. He handled Petr Yan. And after that, it's Umar.
It's a credit to Merab more than anything. It's we don't think they're viable challenges for you because of how easily you dispatch them. We'd rather see the fresh challenge.
Why do we think Merab isn't acknowledging Umar? Obviously he gets on Twitter and he starts tweeting at Petr and Umar is tweeting at him relentlessly all weekend, whether that be Umar or Ali, whoever it may be.
Yeah.
But Merab doesn't acknowledge him as the next shot.
Yes, this is Umar. If I were him, I wouldn't want to fight me either. He's right to be afraid. This is him responding in real time. There were a bunch of tweets. There's a couple others. Umar can beat him. That's why he's avoiding him. That's from Umar.
Yeah.
And then he wrote, sometimes people talk about themselves in the third person.
Thanks,
I
Ali.
think this is because some people were
Shouldn't the second tweet have been like Umar talks about himself in the third person if we're trying to keep it consistent, you know?
Then he tweeted, a coward will always find an excuse for his retreat, which according to Umar is a Georgian proverb. Merab then quote tweeted that and said, this is why I lost respect for Umar and Ali a long time ago. They played dirty games and write stupid shit, disrespecting my country and my people. Keep this same energy when I see you in person. See what happens. This could get very ugly because, of course, of the history between Georgia and Russia, which is, Merab's home country versus Umar's home country. Umar then quote tweeting Merab's accusation that Umar's manager was tweeting on his behalf. And Umar then says, the man you fear, at the mere mention of his name, your body trembles and your heart beats faster, which I don't know, might be some, poem or something, because that was some heavy duty stuff. So they were going back and forth. And Umar's last win, his last fight, was a win over Corey Sandhagen. He is 18-0. He is 6-0 in the UFC. The only win over a top 10, top 15 guy is Corey, but the Corey win is so great. I guess the question to ask, if we are really going to debate this, and I don't think that Pyotr is going to get the fight over Umar, is the 18-0, 6-0 in the UFC. Was it 6 or 5? 6-0 in the UFC, and the undefeated record, is that greater than the win over Song and the win over Davis and Figueiredo? Especially when you consider that, Pyotr was champion, he was on a losing streak, and has already gotten his chance to fight for the belt multiple times. I think ultimately that they are going to give it to Umar. The problem is that Merab is pushing for an early March fight, and that's right at the beginning of Ramadan. And so my read on that is Merab wants to fight in March. They're saying he is not ready for March, and that is pissing him off, and that's why he's pushing for March. I don't think he will get what he wants. If that's truly what they want, and Umar is not going to fight Ramadan, which, none of the Nurmagomedov / Dagestani fighters who are observant do, I think he's going to be upset that he's going to have to wait. And I think that's part of the problem here. I genuinely feel like if it wasn't a scheduling issue, and I obviously have no issues with Umar not being able to fight during Ramadan. Everyone should have that right, and especially for religious reasons, it's 100% understandable. I feel like if this was August or September, Merab would just be like, serve him up to me, I'll beat him. Like, Merab doesn't seem like the type of guy who is ducking opponents, doesn't seem like the type of guy who is trying to pick and choose, especially considering his run to the top and what he had to go through. I feel like he's just kind of annoyed by the scheduling and is annoyed that they, in his mind, are catering to him. But I don't think it's going to be him versus Pyotr Jan 2. The rematch that I would love to see is there's actually two rematches that I would love to see for Pyotr Jan. Jan versus Suga 2 or Jan versus Sandhagen 2. I feel like Jan versus Suga 2 is the real money fight, if you will, because that fight is still being debated as we speak, because people, still talk about Suga being gifted because it was a close fight, because it was only 3 rounds. Make that a main event, 5 rounds, Jan versus Suga. What do you guys think? What do you think? Does anyone have any better idea? Because I feel like that's the one.
Jan versus Suga is the one.
That's the one?
That's the fight.
The 5 rounds, too, would be fantastic.
It has to be 5, though.
Well, yeah, because that's the story, right? First one was 3, it was split decision, it was so close. Now we do it 5.
Yeah, leave no doubt. And also, I think it would be an opportunity for either one of them to say, I deserve a title shot, right? Like, I think on the heels of that, you can really say, okay, they belong in that line.
Yeah, that is the title shot right there.
That's the contendership. I love that.
It would be interesting if that's Suga's next fight and Suga beats Jan, does he get a title shot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
for sure.
does.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Maybe the best thing to happen to Suga is the fact that Figueiredo lost, because I feel like if Figueiredo wins, he probably would. I mean, If Figueiredo would have won, by the way, he would have had maybe a better case than Umar.
Undoubtedly, he would have had a better case. He would have had wins over Rob Font, Chito Vera, Cody Garbrandt, and Jan. Like, I think that's 3 top 10 bantamweights and then a former champion. Like, absolutely would have had a better case. And he would have been undefeated at bantamweight, 4-0 in less than 365 days. He absolutely would have had a better case than Umar.
What do you think, PT? You love
I love that rematch. And look, I thought he won the first fight, if I'm being honest, but it was a brilliant fight.
Jan?
And if anything, we learned that O'Malley was really elite that night. Like, regardless of how I feel about the result, it was exceptionally close. And he fought brilliantly. Both guys fought brilliantly. And I love the 5 rounds. And it automatically, as the lad said, it will push one of them into the title picture again. And I think Jan's always wanted that one back. I think he felt hard done by that night. I think a lot of Jan fans did as well. Of course, a lot of gamblers probably in the mix there, being upset, ripping up their parlays. But I love the rematch, and I think both guys like this kind of fight. Like, these lads are going to be in the pocket, trading with each other. I think Jan would have looked at a Figueiredo fight like this could be more difficult. Like, we saw some of the beautiful takedowns that Figueiredo was landing early in that fight. Very difficult to deal with on the ground. He knows that O'Malley and him are going to bang it out for the most part. And if you can't remember, go back and watch the first fight because it was amazing.
Any belief that Jan versus Merab 2 goes any different than the first fight? I think
Nope.
All right. So there's no like
that's unfortunately unfortunately a nightmare for everybody, but particularly Petr Yan. Like, Petr Yan's game is predicated on just being an incredible striker, which he is. He is the cream of the crop. He is the creme de la creme. He is the top of the class. But the other part of it is how he's able to execute that is because he's so sound defensively, right? Everything that somebody is trying to do back to him, they are unable to do, except Merab. And Merab is somebody who spams takedowns to the point that he does not need the takedown. His pace is the weapon, right? He's able to get in on you, and if he doesn't get the takedown, it does not matter because he's just going to reset and shoot again, and he's going to be able to just make you be on the back foot the whole time. Jan can stuff everybody's takedowns, as we've seen. That is his skill. That is his art. That is his excellence. But Merab does not need the takedowns to execute his style. It's unfortunately just this style clash that I don't think will ever favor Jan. Because Merab can just continue to shoot, and he does not need to secure those takedowns in the way that other people, when they're getting boxed up by Jan, need to. And it's just a real bad style matchup for him.
Yeah, Jan did say he was injured going into that fight, but I think this performance on Saturday by Petr Yan only just shows how good Merab is, right? Because like the Aljo fights were somewhat controversial. Like the guy Petr Yan, I still think there are a lot of us who believe if he doesn't land that kick, you know, he may have had a 3, 4, 5-year run. He was that good and is that good. And so to see this version of him back is very exciting, but it also just speaks to how freaking great Merab is. The fact that he did that to him and it was so one-sided and so dominant. You know what I mean?
There are some people who saw Saturday and still think that. I think there are some people who go, yeah, that is still the guy who I believed he was. Connor and I broke it down on Boys in the Back. I think the whole, like, Jan was falling off kind of narrative, or the idea that like he wasn't how good he was before, was a little bit misguided, because if you look at the performances, who they're against, and the circumstances, like, I think that dude's is every bit as good as he was 3-4 years ago, and that is a championship level fighter. As I said just a moment ago, I do think Merab is a very bad style matchup for him, but he is the best of the best in that division, and he could compete with anybody.
By the way, if it's Merab Umar and it's, let's just say, Sugar Yan, who does Corey fight next? And in case you need a refresher, it's Merab, Sugar, Umar, Yan, Corey. Corey's 4. 5 is Davison. He just fought. Marlon
Davison and Corey.
I was going to say, Figgy versus Corey isn't a bad matchup.
The problem is Corey's kind of fought everybody, and to his credit, that's his thing though. Corey is the one, when nobody was willing to give Umar a shot, was like, yeah, I'll fight him, and that's why we love Corey Sandhagen. He's kind of fought everybody. Figgy is a fresh matchup. I wouldn't mind Corey versus Figgy. I don't know how long Corey is willing to wait, but I like that one.
Last week we had the whole back and forth between Dominic Cruz and Henry Cejudo. I love that fight. But, I mean, he could be in the mix as well. I love that fight. Because, yes, you're right. And when I'm saying that fight, I mean Cejudo versus Corey. Well, I love Cejudo versus Cruz. But if that's
you love Cejudo versus Corey.
I like both. But I'm just trying to find someone for Corey
I mean, we all kind of want Aldo versus Cruz, right? I mean, if we're being honest, like I know this Henry and Cruz stuff is drumming up. We want Aldo versus Cruz.
Aldo versus Cruz is a legendary WEC fight. That would be an incredible way for both of them to kind of ride off into the sunset. I wouldn't mind seeing Aldo versus Sandhagen either. I wouldn't mind seeing.
Damn, Aldo versus Sandhagen can actually be pretty fun.
Banger,
now that you
right?
put that on the table, I wasn't thinking that way, but that's actually pretty good.
Corey has beaten Song Yadong. Like, he's beaten all these guys is the problem. He's beaten Rob Font. Like,
I don't think
Yeah, I mean,
Corey's
he's going to be calling for the O'Malley fight. He's said it in interviews. That's the one that he wants.
Yeah. I don't think Corey's a young, hungry prospect enough. Like, I think he's too veteran to fight Aldo. We need somebody who's like, 22, absolute savage on a roll. Like, Corey's too veteran in the game.
Does O'Malley want to do Jan too? I mean, he skated out with a split decision. Does he want to go?
Well, that was the thing.
Again?
I don't know, but I feel like there's two big rematches that that Jan can go after, and obviously that would be the big one. Sandhagen might be another one, not as big. I don't know. I mean,
that fight, Sandhagen versus Jan, man,
was amazing.
It is one of my favorites of all time.
Is it a bad look? Is it a bad look for Merab to be pushing so much for the Jan fight after he beat him?
Yes.
So you think so?
The optics of this are just bad. To a point you were making earlier, he's frustrated, right? He wants to fight when he wants to fight. He's the champion, and it's seeming like it's not coming together. But on the outside, that's not what people are seeing, right? They're not seeing the negotiations behind the scenes. They're not seeing the UFC laying out the calendar. They're not seeing the schedule and how Ramadan is affecting that. All they're seeing is you calling for a guy that you just dominated. And so it's just bad optically. I don't think it's doing him any favors with the fan base, even though us who are analyzing this whole thing and can see the whole field recognize, like, yeah, of course Merab would fight anybody. Of course he's not just like Jan or nobody. He'll fight anybody. We know this. That's who he is. But I don't think it looks good.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see what they do. Do they just keep Merab on the sidelines and wait till Ramadan is over? By the way, in case you're wondering, Ramadan ends on March 29th. So, I don't know. That would maybe be like he would need a training camp afterwards because it's quite taxing on the body. You can't drink or eat.
So what, International Fight Week?
Then we're talking almost a
June
year.
pay-per-view?
Then we're talking about almost a year in between fights. Yeah, maybe the June pay-per-view might be the soonest. So let us see. Let us see how it all plays out. Now, I did want to talk about a few other things from that card. Shout out to Yan Xiaonan. Looked great against Tabitha Ritchie. Afterwards, called out Zhang Wei Li. It sort of feels like Zhang doesn't have a great dance partner. I don't know if there's a great demand for Yan versus Zhang 2 or Zhang versus Yan 2 because we just saw it and it was pretty one-sided. There's nothing really great out there for her. She's such a superstar and she's so beloved, especially in China. But I feel like she's really starting to break through. You're seeing her with like the likes of Steph Curry and whatnot. And I just don't feel like she has her dance party, which is very unfortunate because she's incredible. I love watching her fight. So let's see. Muslim Salikhov with an incredible spinning wheel kick over Keenan Song. Massive upset. Gabriela Fernandez. What was she? She was like a plus 625, according to Tapology, beating Kong Wang. Kong Wang is the fighter that fought Valentina Shevchenko in, I believe, Muay Thai back in the day. And she did I thought it was great, the Joker thing, and people were saying it was cringe. I thought it was great. Did you guys not like it? Did she do it wrong?
No, I liked it.
I liked it.
Anything to add personality, anything to get us to know who you are,
She did
anything
the
to
this,
stand out.
and then the this, and the this.
It was the only thing people were talking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it worked. I don't find any of that stuff crazy.
Maybe don't get choked out as minus 15 in favor.
Yeah. Tough.
It is definitely, as they say, tough.
You can imagine that Valentina was so invested in that as well. Just the way she talked to you about her, when she came on the show, she's like, yeah, fair play to her. I get it, Come back, try and gain a bit of traction off my name. That's fantastic. Like, Valentina strikes me as the person that, like, absolutely is all in on this and will be cackling in her household as she watched that unfold.
And just shaking your head like you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Not everyone can be Alex Pereira.
Look at her trash talk towards Mano Fiorot. Like, she goes for the jugular. I was thinking of our good friend Juliana, who made a great debut on The Boys in the Back.
Shout out.
Juliana talking about Carlos Elberg is great television.
I knew she was going to choose him, too. The most
my
predictable
God.
thing of all time.
I love it. I love the way she talks about him. the love of Tom Aspinall and all that stuff was great.
What'd she say? I fall in love 10 times a day.
Yeah.
Something like that, wanting to sing his song behind him and all that.
No, sing it. She's all in on it. It's ingrained. It's burned into her mind.
He defeats Volkan Ozdemir, and he's on some kind of roll. They've got something special with him. I mean, just look at the guy. They 100% have something special in him. And I did want to mention Ming Shi's win over Xiao Ken Feng. That was a road to UFC fight, a final, and it was one of the most vicious head kick knockouts that you'll ever see. Truly, truly, truly vicious stuff, and scary stuff, because afterwards Feng was put on a backboard and taken out of the cage. She was put in a neck brace. Like it was pretty scary. I mean, you see the scene there. You don't often see that, especially in the UFC. You really don't. And I reached out to a bunch of people because I do want to give credit to the UFC. I thought they did a great job of at least providing some kind of update. Like they didn't just sweep it under the rug. You can't do that, especially because it happened so early in the card. It was like the fifth or so fight, I believe, on the card. And I thought even during the main event, it was commendable that they would bring it up and talk about it and at least give us some kind of update. I've been trying since Saturday to find out who manages Feng, but I can't seem to find out. But what I did find out was she appears to be okay and in great spirits, and will be making a full recovery. So it's I'm not going to say it was a precaution, but it doesn't appear as though it was something that will, affect you. You think the worst when you see something like that. And based on the people that I talked to who were there and who spoke to people close to her team, there doesn't appear to be the same type of worry about her long-term health or her current health. So I wanted to provide that update. While I was asking around, I actually reached out to Alex Davis, the longtime MMA manager, who I know was in Macau, and I was just trying to think of anyone. I reached out to a bunch of people, Uriah Faber, some managers, just because I didn't know how to get an update on her, to be honest. And while I was talking to Alex Davis, I asked him about his fighter, the PFL fighter, Diane Silva, who was hospitalized after her Bellator London weight cut that resulted in her going into a coma, and was extremely scary stuff. This is from a card that happened on September 14th. She was admitted to the ICU at London's Northwick Park Hospital on September 13th following a failed weight cut to 145 pounds. I hadn't seen an update on Silva, and he provided some incredible news. He told me that she's back in Brazil, that she is at a rehab hospital in Brazil. She is able to walk. She is able to talk. There was fear that she would have to be on dialysis for the rest of her life, and that is no longer the case. And he kept saying this is a fairy tale, like it was terrifying. And it was this is a guy who's been in the sport for 30-something years, and something that he had never seen before. Still too soon to say, the kind of effect that it will have on her long term, and also still too soon to say whether or not she will fight again. That is definitely down the line stuff to discuss. But the great news is she's not in London anymore. She's back home. She is staying at a rehab hospital / center in Brazil, and is able to walk and talk. And he did want to mention that the PFL was really great. This is what he said. He said that we are very thankful to Mike Hogan from Bellator, which is the PFL, and Eduardo Lima from the PFL, who stood by her through thick and thin. And he also said that he believes, and what the doctors are saying, she is on her way to making a full recovery. So that is some tremendous news, because there was a lot of fear that this would be an awful turn of events for Diane Silva, and let's be honest, for the PFL, who is essentially the parent promotion of Bellator. So I wanted to provide that because we were talking about a scary situation, and that was a scary situation. On the card on Saturday, they did announce Yuri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill for UFC 311 on January 18th. I love this fight, and I think it makes all the sense in the world. Anyone have any objections to this fight? Rick, you like it?
I like it. It gave us the genesis of that Yuri screaming "I'm coming" video, and then Jamal's actually like quite funny reply. So I'm in. Let's do that one. I'm all for it.
But that video wasn't about Jamal, right?
No, I don't think it was.
He just did like a TikTok.
Reacted to it, yeah. And
I think I think originally it was about
maybe
Jamal.
it was. I forget because there was a lot of like moving pieces at that time.
Because he was coming for the belt that Jamal won after Yuri vacated. And then Jamal did the "I'm coming back."
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway.
Either way, yeah, it's a sick fight.
It was great.
For it. I can't wait for it.
It's what we want.
Do you like it? Do you like it, GC?
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Why not? I mean, two guys that are near the top of the division, maybe not title shot next. Obviously, Yuri having lost twice to Alex Pereira now, and Jamal having lost to him as well. This is a great, maybe not earn a title shot. Maybe Jamal earns a title shot off of it, but high-level fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad Yuri is not moving down to 185 just yet.
Who's the favorite? Oh, yeah. I don't think he should move down to 185.
Why? That'd be fun. Who cares? I'm in.
I think he's too big for 185.
He's a monster.
No,
Yeah,
he says he's not. He said,
No.
I trust. He says he's not.
Man, I don't know. I could feel him. Like, 205 to 185 is a gigantic jump.
By the way, are we acting like Alex Pereira didn't fight at 185 for the bulk of his career and is a massive human as well? Like, it'd be fine. Don't sweat that.
Yeah, but he did it the opposite way.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, he did, but I'm confident that Yuri could find a way to make 185. I'm not rushing him there. I'm not pushing him there. But when you've lost to the champ multiple times, I'm coming. Okay. There we go.
Yes.
He's coming.
Yes.
Minus 110 each way on the odds.
Ooh.
That one's going to get chaotic.
Ooh.
I
That
would have
one's
thought
gonna be
Yuri.
crazy.
I would have thought Yuri be favorite there. No?
I don't know, man. He got put out by Alex twice.
I mean, so does everyone.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
If we're doing the everybody got put out by
You know
Alex,
who
it's
I'm
a long list.
Yuri's
Oh,
fighting.
those fighting words.
Honestly, to me, feels like a coin toss fight.
It does feel like a coin
I have
Yeah,
no
I think
idea.
it's just going to get super chaotic. They're going to swing and someone's going to get knocked out.
That
I
card
do
coming.
think there's a lot of concern about Yuri's knee as well, like just how he recovered. He got back to it so quickly. I think that is a concern as well, for sure. And look, they're actually very similar stories, aren't they? When we consider Jamal's quick return to fight Pereira, everyone thought that was kind of a rush job. I think Yuri was similar concerns about him too. They're in very similar situations, I think, these guys, where we all kind of know they're at the top of the division and they've already fought for the title, but they want to remind everyone how elite they are. So I like it in that regard for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a number one contender fight. I mean, it does clear out Jamal from the discussions surrounding Alex Pereira because I know he was trying to campaign for that fight, but I think we all agree that it has to be Magomed Ankalaev, right? It's got to be Magomed Ankalaev next.
Yeah, Ankalaev next.
Or heavyweight. Those are
Yeah,
the two
Pereira's at 205. I don't know. I feel like if
Stop with
Jamal
this John
wins,
Jones
he
stuff.
might get a title shot off.
John
of it.
Jones or Tom
I knew you were going there, Rick.
John Jones or Tom
heavyweights.
Aspinall.
What about, by the way, what about the tour that Alex Pereira is having in Korea?
Yeah.
Golly, this guy is coming off like a superstar. So we were
Well,
talking.
this is why when we're talking
know,
about
I know.
the star
I
power,
know exactly
this
what you're
dude
saying.
can be in Korea and people are jumping out windows to see him.
You don't think Tom Aspinall's
No,
getting the same?
I don't. I think if Tom Aspinall walked down the street in Korea, not a soul would know who he was.
You think so?
All due respect to
Are you
Tom.
serious?
Look at these scenes.
There's no way that he's getting an airport entrance like this, and people are like, Tommy Aspinall. These people are chanting Shama so he can do his intro.
Juliana Pena would be there though.
Yo, look at this! Look at this turnout in Korea.
Oh,
he's doing
got
the
the
freaking-
moves. I love that.
I love how Plinio's always by his side. Look at this freaking.
the tag team.
This is in the airport. By the way, how do they even know when he's coming? Like when? How do they know that he's arriving at this time? I never understood that.
Yeah, somebody sets this up, but
Oh,
I just say-
Plinio on the banner.
I love the dude who they keep bringing out to keep taking damage from Alex. Like the tough guy who's taking the body shots and the leg kicks and all that. That dude's a savage.
Do we have that guy?
What about this tracksuit? What about the tracksuit?
The tracksuit is beautiful. The track-
unbelievable.
Is it possible that could be an addition? What is it? Is it called Saint?
Stevens Day,
Yeah.
Stevens Day tracksuit. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're already in the process of developing this year's Stevens Day tracksuit.
Wait.
Why is that
What
unfortunate?
this? I need a better explanation.
You don't know what this is?
No.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
very intrigued.
Go ahead, PT.
Well, it's a thing in particularly working class Dublin that Stevens Day, British people call it Boxing Day. We call it St. Stephen's Day.
Why is it
just
called
get a
that, by the way?
St. Stephen's Day,
Yeah.
because it's the feast day of St. Stephen, I guess.
And who is Saint Stephen's?
Don't know.
All
A
right.
little cheeky
Same-
too to be like, they call it Boxing Day, but we named it after
Yeah.
the saint.
Yeah, like, you're better than
They've
us.
done a few cheeky things to the Irish over the years as well. If you look into the history there.
Yeah.
But anyway, we get tracksuits on because our bellies are so swollen from eating all the food and everything. It's just a tracksuit day, and we just sit down and watch all the football and the darts and everything else that's on the TV. It's a bit of a custom. So when you used to go to shop with your parents to get your Christmas clothes, you'd also get a Stephen's Day tracksuit. I've kept it alive into my 30s now.
This is incredible. So everyone comes and flexes their different sweatsuits and tracksuits.
Yeah.
The day after Christmas.
I've done it every year now. I think I've done it about 5 years now. I get out my tracksuit, and this year, bespoke tracksuit for the first time.
So you were sorry, I missed that. You were saying unfortunately because like you can't adapt the plan now. You're
I can't
already like
change
in
it. Can't
motion.
change it.
Got it. No, there's nothing unfortunate
I
about
might be
it.
in
I
on
look
that.
forward to
I
it.
might have to get my own sweatsuit.
I would love if you did that.
I
and honestly,
might get a
GC,
Shama tracksuit.
By the way,
You get that's it. You get that, and I'll do my one. Fantastic.
All right, I'm gonna start looking
Was
it
it the
up.
one you had on last week, Pizzi?
No, you love that one, though, didn't you? The green
did,
one.
yeah.
Come on.
It was like I'm trying to
Fully green
troubleshoot things with you, and there's a guy in a tracksuit. I'm like, I don't even know if you're taking me seriously right now.
They were like, "Are you taking the piss out of me just based on the clothes you're wearing?"
by the way, Pizzi, did Connor just admit that he hasn't been following you on social media? Because I feel like this has been a bit for several years now. Your
He has me
tracksuit.
muted. I think he must have me muted.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say I follow him on everywhere. I mean, we don't need
My
to get into
controversial
it.
takes.
I recently came
he
across
upset
a
him.
memory about when New York Rick first followed me after me knowing him for like
Oh,
18 months. Longtime fans remember that one.
what do you mean? Remember, you screenshotted it and it came up.
Yeah.
Let
Came up.
me-
It was like 3 years ago today. New York Rick started following me. I was like, yes, this is when my heart was torn out of my chest. The guy sat next to me, shoulder to shoulder, for months on end, and didn't.
Wow,
Let
I
me-
don't remember this.
Let me put it
Oh, it
out
was a
there.
whole saga.
There was a saga about it. Let me put it out there. I'll text people that I know and care about. I don't give a shit about follows on.
Yeah, respect.
Whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't follow me either. I'm not all that exciting.
No, I love
what
the
you
follow.
say.
I do
Yeah,
look
go with
forward to the
GC.
tracksuit. I have to admit.
I'm
I
shopping
have seen that.
tracksuits over here now.
It's the biggest post of the year.
Wait,
You know what I
GC,
mean?
you're gonna
People look forward to
partake?
it.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
So this is Boxing Day, by the way.
Yeah.
No,
So
it's not fucking Boxing
December
Day. It's not Boxing Day.
26th, to be clear.
We aren't,
So I'm gonna
sorry,
watch.
if we're gonna call it Boxing Day, you're not fucking welcome. All right. That's the end of
St.
it.
Stephen's Day.
St. Stephen's Day tracksuit. Thank you. We don't care
Yeah.
for Boxing Day. Thank you,
St. Stevie's Day.
Stevens.
Is that allowed?
What?
Is he allowed to call it St. Stevie's? Or is
He
that-
is now. I mean,
St. Steve.
Irish people call it St. Stevenson's Day. We get locked up on that one for a bit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that is a little
just
bit.
Get,
Yeah,
get
I'm
the
gonna walk down.
tracksuit
I'm
on.
gonna walk downstairs the day after Christmas in a sick head to toe tracksuit.
you know what rolls off the
I-
tongue? Boxing Day.
What?
Just call it
It
Boxing
does,
Day.
especially for like a combat sports show. It's perfect. By the way, do we have the video of him kicking the guy, or was it just that one? Because there's been a ton of great Alex Pereira
We
video.
sure do.
Let's see it. Let's see it before we get to our first guest. So it's the same guy every time? Oh, he's barefoot.
His legs must be in tatters.
Louise. This poor guy. That doesn't look like it hurts like at first glance, but if you come
I
face
kind
to
of
face
want Alex Pereira to leg kick me.
Oh,
next
jeez.
time-
Now
next
he's
time
doing
we
it
see
without. This guy is just a glutton for punishment. Ah! You feel that, right? Ah, poor guy. One would have been enough.
Wow, he took 3.
This isn't. Did this guy not take like 8? I saw a guy taking like
Oh,
20
right.
kicks.
Pereira said one more.
One more. Oh, fuck.
Could you imagine how much?
Oh, that
Messi
one
would
looked
be
like
on
he
the-
put a little extra mustard. What do you think? On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is he going?
I feel like a 6.
40.
Oh, you think a 6? I thought a 4.
Yeah,
4,
okay.
yeah, I'd say.
You guys both said a 4.
Also, like, it's just not worth it. Imagine he actually breaks the dude's leg. He gets sued.
Or,
And imagine
or what if
how much
what if
more
Alex
power
Pereira
Chris
like
Weidman
broke
has.
his leg?
Oh, man, that would be worse. Yes, that would not be good at all.
I think that's why he goes 40% because he knows he's not going to break the dude's leg.
Anyway, as I've been saying, he's an international superstar and he deserves,
Right.
a big time fight. This is exactly what we've been saying. Good for him, though. It's nice to see him get all this
He's
attention.
such a superstar that like his trip to Korea like took over MMA social media this weekend.
And the most amazing part about it all is he doesn't speak English, and he certainly doesn't speak Korean.
He needs
know
to
what I
speak
mean?
one word, Shama.
It's unbelievable. I mean, even our guy Rampage took a picture with him lately, and he's like marking out and calling him or saying Shama in his post. It's just to see how he might be. I mean, I guess the first since, because by the time Khabib became a superstar, he did speak a little bit of English. He might be the first since Anderson Silva, and I don't think Anderson was this beloved. Certainly the sport wasn't as big, right? He might be the first guy that is this popular who doesn't speak English. I would think. Like a lick of English. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't even say, like, I am very happy to be here.
Yeah, I just think that adds to the aura.
Amazing. All right, well, coming up back into the show, the Underground King, Eddie Alvarez, will join us on January 25th, exactly 2 months from today. He will return to action against Jeremy Stevens in a highly anticipated bout in his hometown of Philadelphia. That's Knucklemania 5, their debut at the Wells Fargo Center. So looking forward to talking to Eddie. It's always a very interesting conversation with him. We will also talk to Rampage Jackson about a whole host of things, but did want to have our first guest on for about a week or so because we were so excited about him fighting at Madison Square Garden, and then we found out literally the evening of UFC 309 that the fight was off. We then found out a few days later that it was being rebooked for UFC 310 on December 7th at a catchweight. And so here he is, our old friend, the one and only, the All-American, the pride of South Carolina, Chris Weidman. Hello, Chris. How are you?
What's up, Ariel? How are you?
Good to talk to you. It's been a while.
Good to talk to you as well. How we doing?
I'm doing great. By the way, those two MMA awards, what are they for? Do you remember?
Yes. Fighter of the Year and Breakout Fighter of the Year.
Fighter of the Year, let me guess. We're going to say 2013?
Yes. You don't have to guess. Don't act like you're struggling.
Yeah.
You're an encyclopedia.
And Breakout Fighter, that's a good one. Would it be 2012?
Yep.
Wow.
One after the other.
That was the year of the Mark Munoz elbow.
Yep. Exactly. There was the Demian Maia fight.
Right, of course.
And then it was Munoz. I'm not sure if the Tom Lawler fight was in there too. It might have been 2012 too.
What card was that? That was at 130.
That was
115?
in San Jose.
139.
You're talking about Tom Law? Yeah, 139. You're right.
No, but that couldn't have been the same year because Mark Munoz was also in San Jose.
Who did he fight?
No, you. He fought you in San Jose.
Oh no! Well, the year before it was San Jose. Okay,
yes.
So maybe we did San Jose around the same time the year before, and I fought Tom Lawler because I fought twice in San Jose.
Yes. Tom Lawler was 139, which was November of 2011. The anniversary was just last week, November 19th, and then Munoz was the Wednesday.
You're unbelievable.
The Wednesday after UFC 148. It was a Wednesday Fuel TV card. Remember that? It was so weird.
Yes. That was my first main event, and I've had a couple, on Fuel TV. The Anderson Silva fight was my first pay-per-view card ever. That I was actually even on the main card, and then I was, obviously for the belt. So it was a big step up as far as promos go.
And here you are, still kicking it. Some 12, 13 years later, you were supposed to fight at MSG. I was so excited for you because I know how big of a deal it is to fight at that arena, to get a chance to fight back home. And so, could you tell us the timeline from your perspective? When do you get word? Is it just one phone call, the fight is off, or do you get a phone call like, hey, this is in trouble, hey, stand by? How does it go down?
No, so I was, we were doing, so right before I always head down to a fight and get to the shuttle and before my coaches come. So usually my coaches come to my room about 10 minutes before we're going to be in the shuttle. And so right before they come down, we do a prayer with my family. We FaceTime my sister. And just a bunch of my family is there, and we, say some prayers. And as that was happening, and I had my phone on Do Not Disturb, my sister was on my phone on FaceTime, and I guess all of a sudden, Hunter Campbell came ringing, and I go, oh no, I got to pick that up. And I just right away I started having a weird feeling, and so this is about 5:15, 5:30. We had to leave at 6 o'clock for the shuttle. So I get the call and he just says, hey, if I'm calling you, it's probably not a good thing. And I go, he said, the fight's off. Anders can't fight. He has food poisoning. They're pumping him full of IVs and everything, trying to make him, get better. But he's not going to be able to fight. The commission won't let him fight. And whatever. Yeah, I was, like
Devastated.
yeah, completely devastated. I was, I felt great for this training camp, and it was 12-week camp. And the weight cut was definitely a tough weight cut. Got through that part. Then you're waiting all day long, anticipating the fight, and the pressure of that. And then all of a sudden they get that phone call right before your walk, and you're ready to tear that Band-Aid off and walk into the octagon and be able to put on a show. And it just gets taken away from you. I couldn't believe it.
And
Part of me was like, is this a joke?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never happened to me before. So it's a new one.
And
after all these years.
What time is that around?
About 5:30 Eastern time. Yeah. So I mean, I was about to walk on. We were about to get on the shuttle. My coaches were literally walking to my room to walk down to the shuttle when I got the call. And so it was kind of heartbreaking and just sucks. And then you're like, what the fuck? What do we do? So that's kind of where we were standing at that point.
What do you do when you hang up the phone? Like, how do you even collect your thoughts? What is the first thing that you do?
I was spinning. I couldn't find any like blessing in disguise over it. I was crushed. I teared up a little bit, a little cry. I got my whole family there, and they spent thousands of dollars, to get down to New York, and tons of friends and family that flew in, and they're not going to watch, the main event. They're not going for anything other than to support me. And so it's just like, I just felt so awful for all them, and it was too late to sell the tickets. Some of them were able to do it, but the majority of them couldn't sell the tickets because the event had already started. I think they were trying to like go down and scalp them. But like, some of my family members are older, they're not going down, in front of MSG and doing that. So a lot of them had to eat it. I just felt awful. I was super excited to fight in New York, in front of all those people. And, I had 2 fights in Madison Square Garden, and we know how those went. So it was kind of like the third time's a charm. I was ready for some retribution and redemption. I don't know if that word means the same or not, but redemption. Yeah. And so it got taken away from me. And I was excited for, Trump was there, Elon Musk, the whole Republican appointees. I was excited to put on a show for everybody. And yeah, it just sucks that you're not going to get that one back. You don't have that opportunity very often.
And, you mentioned like this is the opportunity to rip the Band-Aid off. How do you then release that anxiety? Like you don't even get that chance, right? You just cut weight, you just rehydrated. Do you even work out? Like, what do you do does it not matter? Is that just a thing that we talk about? Like, because you're about to like release everything that you've probably been going through for the past 8-9 weeks. What do you do?
I'm pretty good at being optimistic and like being glass half full type of guy. And there was a lot of people that came out to see me. They weren't going to go to the fights anymore. They lost this money. So, as much as I just wanted to hide out of my room and like sulk and be upset, they offered me tickets to the fight and everything. I'm like, I'm good. I'm not going to do that. I want to, spend time with the people that came out. And so we went to a restaurant and had a private room, and we hung out. We watched some of the fights, and just got to spend some time with the people that came out and to support me. But I will say it was, it was weird for me because I usually, and especially with all the people I love, like being around them, I'm super happy and outgoing, and it was hard for me to be that guy that night. It was just really eating me up. It was hard. It was a tough one. But ultimately, like having faith in God, I think is what gets me through these type of things. Like I just feel like God's plan is always hard, to understand, and you just got to trust it and have faith. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like we may not know ever until we're at the pearly gates on the reasons for things that happen in our lives. So it's ultimately, in the grand scheme of life, this is not a big deal. So I just had to put it in perspective and have faith.
That is a good point. That is great perspective. I am wondering, and I'm not trying to get like too, deep as far as religious talk, but I'm happy to go there if you want to. Given that you are, such a religious person and all the things that you have been through over the past 3-4 years, even upon returning, like even the Bruno Silva fight, like is not just a regular boring fight. There's all kinds of, do you ever sit back and think like, golly, can I just have like a non-boring fight experience, a fight week leading up to a fight, and it just kind of all is there? That's it.
Yeah, without adversity and breaking legs, poking eyes,
Yeah.
just things like that. Yeah, I would love that, but you know, like I said, there's always blessing disguises, and I do feel like the more uncomfortable situations you get put in, the more adversity you get put in, the stronger you have an opportunity to grow stronger from it if done right. And I always just got to roll with everything that comes at me the best I can and try to grow as a person. And it does when I feel like a lot of times it's easier to be faithful when you're hitting adversity, at least for me. When everything's going right and everything's good, you kind of lose sight of God. And that's when your life kind of falls to crap. But I think when you're in adversity, you really, at least for me, I tend to really like focus on God more often, and I just feel so much better actually through tough times.
Wow. Okay. Well put. The reason for the withdrawal from Eric Anders was that he had food poisoning. Is that what you were told as well?
Yeah. I actually saw him the next day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw him walking through the hotel lobby and stuff. So we chatted for a little bit. Apparently, him and I don't know if it's a teammate or a guy that's managed by the same management company. Is it McGee? Did he fight that night?
Yes, Marcus.
Marcus McGee, that's his name?
Yeah.
So he apparently he got food poisoning too. He fought, and I guess did he get a knockout or he won by decision or something? He won, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You should know that, Ariel. But
no, I just said yes. I said yes.
I guess they went to the same spot, same Italian spot in New York, and they ended up getting food poisoning. And I guess McGee's might have been not as bad. I don't know, but either way, he was able to fight, and Anders couldn't. The UFC, I guess, told Anders to try. I guess he had told. This is just could be rumors. I don't know, but based on what he says and what the UFC says, who knows what's true. But that he told him early on, he did a shakeout. He couldn't hold up his hands in the morning, and I think he said that he doesn't think he's going to be able to fight, but they wanted him to be able to get push through and try to get to the locker room and see how he feels when he's in the locker room. So I think that ended up being the goal, and then I don't know. At some point, they decided. I don't know really what happened. Around that 5:30 time before we were walking into the locker room. But that's when I got the phone call.
Was that meeting, that conversation awkward, or was it okay?
No, I've been out with Anders once, and I think he's a cool dude. I don't think he's canceling a fight. We make money to fight, and so he wants to make his money. I think he wants to compete. It was a big opportunity for him too. So. There's always people running up to me. He was scared of you. I'm like, I don't know about that. I think he had food poisoning, and I believe him on that. And it is what it is. Right away, I had a lot of decisions to make because UFC were being very good with me. Hey, when do you want to fight? We could get you on the Macau card.
Oh, geez.
We could get you. December. You want to fight in January? You want to fight in March? All these different opportunities, and so which is nice. And yeah, I chose this one because I'm healthy right now, and I could have chose one later on and had more time to recover from the camp and everything like that. But then there's a chance of getting injured, then I'll have regret. Right now, I feel great, and I just kind of just tacked my camp on a little bit longer with the weight cut in there, and now we're doing a catch weight. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
So they offered me, I could fight pretty much any weight I wanted, and I could have done 205, but I said, let's do 195 just so I don't feel like lazy eating whatever I wanted, and have to stay disciplined for the next couple of weeks. And so 195 it is.
So they asked you all these things, and was it basically all up to you and he had to agree to it?
I think so.
Wow.
I think I became the A side without question. Even according to him, he goes, oh, listen, he said that to me, that those words never came out of my mouth to this point. And Hunter, we had a conversation too about when I wanted to fight and all and some other things, and he was, very open with kind of whatever I wanted to do goes.
Could I ask? I mean, do you get compensated in any way for the MSG card?
They're gonna take care of me. I'll say that they're doing something for me. I'll make more money. I'm not getting my full purse. I'll put that out there.
Yeah.
Which it's tough. You show up, you do everything right, and you don't get it. But they are giving me the opportunity to fight again here very soon to make me whole. So I can't complain too much. I still they're gonna hook me up with something from that fight for everything I went through and the traveling and getting my coaches and everybody out there. And then I get an opportunity to fight here just a couple weeks later, so I'll be fine. I get my full pay then.
Can I?
And I don't know what happens if Anders doesn't show up this time.
Well,
they also said,
yes.
Side note, that they were trying to find another opponent for me. I guess that whole day.
Oh my gosh.
They were looking for like 205 pounders that either fought that day or anybody in the area, trying to do like one of those Dan Ige type situations. But apparently New York Commission was not going to allow anything on that type of short notice. So that's what stopped that from happening. I do believe that they tried their best to find some type of fight for me that day, and the New York Commission, I guess, was hard to deal with.
And we have heard that they are very, very strict. A bunch of people have told us that. But can I just offer one bit of commentary? I personally do feel like the tickets are sold at that point. You're a draw. Everything is kind of, the hay is in the barn. They had allocated that money to someone. Someone was going to win. And so it feels like the proper thing to do is to just pay you for your troubles. You did everything.
So my show money is my win money. I have guaranteed money.
Yeah.
So that was my point. I showed up. You guys had that on the budget sheet to begin with. You guys had a great night. Why do you guys keep that money and I don't? That was my thought. Their thoughts were, listen, this happens on like 40% of the cards. And if we pay people to not fight, like it would, they just want to be consistent on what they do in those situations. And that's what I think they decided to do consistently for their business.
Yeah. But Anders isn't getting paid. You're getting paid. So it's not like you could say, oh, this sets a precedent that, hey, you pull out, you're getting paid, right? It's the guy who didn't pull out is the one who's getting paid. The other guy's not getting anything.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Anders and his payment.
Right.
But like I know the Wonder Boy one was pretty was pretty public on what happened there, and he ended up getting some money. He was in a similar situation where his guy didn't make weight by like 7 pounds, but they gave him the opportunity to fight. But he was like, "No, this is crazy. I'm not going to fight." This guy didn't make the weight he's supposed to, and he had already gone through something like that when he fought Darren Till years before, and he ended up losing when Darren Till was like 4 pounds over. So I think he had made that decision in his mind, if this ever happens again, not just him, but him and his coaches, his dad, that if that ever happens again, they're not just taking the fight if the guy isn't professional enough to make the weight, especially when it's by that much weight. So, but they ultimately took care of him, and it's not like you're not getting your full money, but they will try to take care of you and get you a fight when you can, when they can, and I guess any expenses that you had during that camp or whatever, they're going to try to take care of, and then rebook you quick.
And so they have, by the way, how does that work? Like, do you come home on, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, and then go right back to work? It's kind of rare to go through a whole camp and then all of a sudden have another fight booked in 2 weeks.
Yeah, my coaches, they wanted me to take off like 3 days the following week. Just kind of like chill, decompress, from everything that you go through with the weight cut and, 12-week training camp, and then kind of get back into it slow. Just keep your cardio going and, not get injured really, just stay healthy. I took off a day. I felt like that was good enough. I slept in and I was like, I did feel there was one day I just felt beat down. And then after that, right now I feel good. Been working out since, last week, and this week we're going to get a good one in, and kind of take it as like it's another, last week of a training camp.
How are you? By the way, I just have to note, I'm sure you hear this quite often, with a little bit of that salt and pepper coming in, you're starting to look a lot like your dad. You know this, right?
That's my boy.
It's amazing how much you're starting to look like your pops.
Listen, genetics are a hell of a thing. What can I say? He's not a bad looking dude.
No, not at all.
And he's never worked out a day in his life. So I'm going to keep working out. I'm going to have him trumped.
Is that true? Really? He's never worked out?
I don't think he's ever been in a gym and worked out in his life.
How's that possible?
He's just a worker, man. He's just a blue collar guy who, he does like, grew up rebuilding stars and alternators since like he's in high school, and then ultimately took over his dad's business, and then he's just nonstop. He's just a workaholic when it comes. He's just a grinder, and stepping in the gym, I just don't feel like it's a part of his DNA. I'd love for him to do it. he does like weird things, and it's actually pretty good. Like he'll wake up in the morning and do like 20 sit-ups. He'll do like these little stretches, like calisthenic type things every morning, and that's how he feels like he stays in shape. But he's got to take care of himself. His body, his joints and everything is shot. But like health wise, he's in a good spot.
He's like one of those old school guys. Like he just does the prison workouts.
Just lifts the engine, lifts the motors around and starters and alternators, and he feels like that's good enough workout. He's a strong dude. He's a strong guy.
Well, you look fantastic. By the way, how do you feel about this matchup? Did you like it? Was this one that excited you coming off the Bruno fight?
Yeah, I think it's a fun fight. His big, strong, athletic kid comes forward, southpaw. Tries to throw his left hand. He's been wrestling, and I know in his last fight he was taking his opponent down. So he's mixing it up a lot. Big, strong, athletic kid. I do feel like I have a big speed advantage on the feet, technical advantage on the feet, and as well as just I think I'm levels above when it comes to jiu-jitsu and wrestling. So I think it's a great fight for me to showcase where I'm at.
I wanted to ask you also about your boy Merab. I haven't talked to you since him. To see that guy in particular, like climb the whole freaking thing from where he came from. I think working in construction, right? I spoke to Aljo about him recently, but like to just see him actually make it. What were the emotions that night when you saw him win the belt in September?
I mean, I am so happy for that kid. To see where he came from in the gym. I still remember when he first came in and he started fighting for us, and he was in the ring of combat, and he just would make the dumbest mistakes. He was just so wild and would try to throw people and then land on his back, and they're in mount position. He's like punching off his back, from mount. Like he would make crazy mistakes, but you always knew his work ethic was always there and his gas tank. But he just felt like as far as like how his fight IQ was his biggest issue, and I never I feel like that's a hard one to change. And he ultimately turned into one of the smartest fighters I've seen. His fight IQ is unbelievable. He's the most grateful person probably I've ever met. Just super happy and grateful for the team, for America. Loves his country, Georgia. He loves all the people around him. He truly does, and he's constantly trying to let people know how he feels about them. He's not afraid to be emotional and get up on. He's constantly giving speeches. Every dinner, anytime you're with him, he has to. And his English is not his first language, obviously. He's not afraid to get up there and try to just let everybody know how he feels before he even had the success that he has now. He's a great human being. And a side note, my father-in-law, who passed away when he was going to the gym to watch Merab spar, I don't know if do you remember the story?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so he was crossing the street, about to walk into our gym, and as he was walking the street, this was during COVID, and he didn't want us to get in trouble with seeing people walk into the gym without a mask on, right? So he touches his pockets to see if his mask was in his pocket, and he realizes, oh crap, I forgot in the car. He goes to turn, and there was a car coming the other way. Clips him. That car happened to be going to our gym, and it was a kid that he knew. It was a guy that he knows with his son that did private lessons for wrestling with Jamie Franco, who's now the head coach of Hofstra. He got clipped, and he was out of commission for a week, and he ended up passing away, and it was awful. But the reason why I bring that up is that he was on the way to there. He was on the way just to watch Merab spar. He loved Merab so much, and he always had Merab as the next champion, way before other people did. And he loved his work ethic and just his grinding mentality, and just how grateful of a kid he is. If you spend time with Merab, it really just makes you more grateful for your life and realize how blessed you are, because you've never met somebody more grateful. It's an amazing thing to be around, and it's just super magnetic. I couldn't be happier for somebody on what he's accomplishing. I mean, to see the love he got in his country in Georgia.
Isn't that nuts? Isn't that surreal to see someone get that kind of love? That's rock star status.
It's crazy to see people. Listen, you've been around for a long time. To see people in MMA.
Yeah.
Be looked to like that, almost like a godlike figure, is really just crazy to see. And it couldn't have happened to a better person. I'm truly just so happy for him, and I think the sky's the limit. I do think he's got the belt now, but he's very hungry, and he's not going to stop working. I think he could hold that belt for a really long time.
When you were back home in New York, did you guys have an old school training session together? You, Aljo, Marab, Al, the boys, the OGs.
Well, Aljo and Marab didn't go to the fights.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. apparently it was tough to get tickets for that fight. I don't know what happened.
I think it was the Secret Service's fault, or at least that's who was being blamed.
Secret Service might have took their spots. I don't know. But so Marab and Aljo, they stayed. They were in the city on like Thursday, and they were trying to meet up, but I was cutting weight, and my weight cut was tough, so they didn't come by. And then they planned on coming in for it and saying what's up to me, but it just it's a pain in the ass. You know what it is to get from Long Island to the city. So yeah, I didn't see them, but Longo came out, Volante came out. We had a good dinner. Volante's going to actually be in my corner for this next one. Wonder Boy can't make it. So, we
old school. I love that.
The crew's back together. Yeah, we're taking Volante out of elementary school.
The high school football coach, right?
He's a high school football coach, but he's like a kindergarten teacher.
No way.
Yeah, he's a K through 3.
In what subject?
So imagine that guy, phys ed.
Wow.
He could teach math or something. Come on.
I don't know. That's amazing. When's the last time he cornered you?
That's a good question. I feel like you know that better than me.
I remember you cornering him in East Rutherford and MSG.
Yeah, MSG too. Yeah. I don't remember the last time.
I love that.
But he's always been in and out of my corners. Just kind of depends on the scheduling, and I always loved having him there. He's great. He's one of my best friends. For a long time, and I trust him, and we just have a great relationship. He has great energy.
Yeah.
He was out of his mind at that dinner. He's so funny. But he couldn't. He's not coming till Friday after school. He's coming out with his wife. He's a completely different dude now. He's completely different than he was kind of like the Rob Gronkowski of MMA. Now he's married. He's obsessed with his family, and that's it. He's doing the right thing. He's working hard for his family, providing. I'm real proud of him.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really crazy, his transformation. He's still funny as hell, but he's not going out looking for girls anymore. He has zero interest in any of that stuff. So it's crazy. It's an amazing evolution of Jean Piero Volante.
By the way,
sitting in your office, not that one, but one of them. That's where it all started. Me, Volante, and you.
Right. By the way, you want to know something insane?
2011.
You want to know something insane? That was at AOL. That show was at AOL. That was my first home.
Yep.
And Yahoo, who I'm working with now on this show, bought AOL. And when I came here to tour the place, and they were telling me the address, and they told me the floor, it sounded familiar. I typed it into my email. It was the same floor, same building as the 2011 studio.
Yeah, so
it could have been right here.
That is crazy. That really is full circle,
yes,
man.
Yes,
that's got to be surreal.
That is surreal. When I felt it, when I came to the realization, I got like this lightning bolt chills throughout my body.
Yeah, I was even back then, 2011. Your show was the biggest, right? It was. At what point? When did you start that show?
2009.
2009. So in 2 years, you were pretty much the show to get on, which is pretty crazy. I'll never forget being in there. I was nervous as hell. And Fedor, do you remember? Yeah, Fedor.
Yeah.
And I mean, Fedor was like a mythical creature. Walking around, and he had, they all had the same warm-up suits on, and tons of Russians, and I remember just being like overwhelmed with, the whole thing. And I was Volante's sidekick.
Yeah. I called you Chris Weidman.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, a lot of people did. That's funny. And I was the Volante sidekick. He was in Strikeforce. He was making his debut. I was trying to get into the UFC. They didn't want me. Then I was trying again. I was close to signing with Bellator. I had a fractured rib, and then it was very soon after your show. Yep. Actually, it was that weekend.
Yep.
Or no, I don't.
It was.
When was Strike? Was he on your show the week of his fight?
Ian Parker came up to me. Ian Parker came up to me at that show and told me about the short notice fight against Alessio Sakara.
Yes, very weird. 2.5 weeks in.
Yeah.
From the fight, and crazy how this journey goes.
Well,
really cool.
The journey continues on December 7th. Always great to talk to you, Chris. Appreciate it. Much love to you and the family. And good luck in a week and a half. Looking forward to it.
All right, Ariel. I appreciate it, brother.
You're the man. Thank you so much.
Me. You're the man. Take care.
All right, there he is, the great Chris Weidman, back on the program. Always great to talk to him and see what all went down at MSG. And today kind of feels like an old school kind of day where we get to catch up with some old friends, Chris Weidman, Eddie Alvarez to come, and no greater friend to us, no greater co-pilot, if you will, no greater, dare I say, ally throughout my career, and a relationship that is enjoying a second and third life, if you will, because due to the help of TikTok and Instagram, people are passing around these clips as recently as today. The Internet Hall of Fame Twitter handle posting the post-UFC 135 interview between the great Quentin Rampage Jackson and myself. It's hard to get him on the program. There was once a time where I could get him on like that. Now I have to go through multiple different layers, but I do think that we have secured his presence. Is he there? Yes. Hello, Quentin. How are you? It's been a while, my man.
What's up? I'm live?
Yeah, we're live. We're live.
Oh, okay.
What's up? Have you not paid for your internet recently? You're all choppy.
Am I choppy?
Yeah.
My internet is strong. It's your shit.
Well, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I hate internet being choppy. You need to fix your shit, homie.
No, we just had Chris, and he looked fantastic. It was crystal clear.
Oh, damn, you're right. It was.
What do you think it is? Are you on Wi-Fi, or are you on like that, Cricket Wireless Wi-Fi?
Oh, you know what? I got my VPN on because I'm with Kirgo, and I be gambling and shit. Let me turn. Can I turn it off real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Hold on. My bad. I didn't think about that.
See, there we go. Perhaps a question that could be asked before he comes on.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. You probably need to start asking people because I be gambling on Kirgo.
What is that?
Kirgo is a new online casino. Is it not choppy anymore?
It's actually gone much better, yes.
Yeah, it was my VPN. I keep forgetting about that.
Oh, wow. And so why do you need a VPN for it?
Oh, because it's America be putting restrictions on every goddamn thing. So it's like overseas. I be playing poker and blackjack.
You know what's my favorite VPN? NordVPN. That thing is a lifesaver when I'm overseas.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm on. If you ever like to gamble and bet on some fights, use my link. It's on my Instagram.
Oh, this is a sponsor.
If you gamble, it ain't no sponsor. I got a damn link. If you gamble, if I hear about you betting on any fight, and you didn't go through my link on Kirgo, I'm telling you, I better not find out. You better go through my link.
Okay, do me a favor. How do you spell that? Because is that a K-I? How do you spell that?
God damn it! You put me on a Kirgo.
Okay.
Kirgo. You know how to spell. You just fucking with me.
I just didn't know. I'm not familiar.
No, chill the fuck out, man. You fucking smart as fuck. You wearing those big ass glasses.
That's right.
And you know me for a long time. You know I'm not the best speller. You get me on live. You talk about my fucking internet. Now you asking me to spell some shit. What the fuck? You asking me to do some math next motherfucker?
No, but I do want to ask you this. You appear to be extremely slim right now. Like your face is so svelte, and I'm only seeing the top half of your body. Are you in incredible shape right now?
Oh, my face is slim because see, I don't know if I should tell you. There's this new workout that I invented where you let fat bitches sit on your face and they make your face sweat and you lose face fat.
Come on, man.
What?
Have you not settled down at this point?
Bro, the last good girlfriend I had, you broke me up with.
Oh, not this again. This can't be. This was literally 11 years ago at this point.
And I haven't been in a serious relationship since.
That sounds like a you problem, not a me problem.
No, brother, it's a you problem. You brought it up.
I just was asking.
I don't got no girlfriend. I'm still out here in these streets, homie.
All right.
You got somebody you hook me up, nice Jewish woman?
Oh, for sure. It can make you some nice Shabbat meal, matzo ball soup.
Wait, hold on. I ain't with that freaky shit.
No, it's Shabbos. You put the candles, you light them up. You got the challah bread. Have you ever had challah bread?
No. I changed my mind. I want a nice Jewish woman. Unless she got money, I'm looking for a sugar mama.
Have you ever dated a Jewish woman?
No. I don't even think I even smashed one of those.
No docket.
I don't even think I smashed. Well, if I did, she didn't tell me she was Jewish.
Yeah. Her parents probably
Yeah.
wouldn't have approved.
Oh, tell me tell me about it. That's the story of my life. When you date others like Asians, white, Latinos, Mexicans, Hispanic, you ain't meeting their parents when you black, homie.
Bad news?
No, you just don't meet their parents, and I'm cool. I'm okay with that.
Who's calling you now?
Man,
Well, he just hung up. It must have been that gambling thing.
The VPN struck.
Yes,
We'll get him back.
I actually do love Nord, but I have noticed that if you have it on and you try to do some sort of, I don't know.
This just in from the sales team. Please, only positive things.
Yes, of course. No, but I knew what he was talking about. That's why I said it to him. I was in France, and it was huge for me having NordVPN because I was able to watch the CBC coverage of the Olympics, so I knew what they were talking about when I was there covering the Olympics in Paris. So it is a great thing. I've never heard about using it for some sort of gambling thing, but God bless. And he does appear to be in tremendous shape, that Quinton Jackson. And there have been some rumors and discussion regarding a potential return, especially against one Rashad Evans. You'll recall his very lengthy feud with Rashad Evans, stemming UFC 107 was I think 2010, and then they ended up fighting at UFC something or other. We got him. Yeah, is he back? Yeah. Hey, what's up? What happened?
I'm so embarrassed. My phone is do not disturb, but my manager Tiki called me. I guess he did the go through anyway. I don't know how he called me on do not disturb. He was trying to tell me some news about that fight with Rashad.
Oh,
I had to cuss him. I had to cuss him out. I know he didn't know I was live, but I sent him the voicemail. That should mean leave me the fuck alone right now, motherfucker. Right?
I mean, you probably have him on one of those that goes through do not disturb. Like you can whitelist people, you know? Because
I ain't whitelisting no motherfucking bat on this motherfucking planet. And I get embarrassed about shit like that, so I don't want to mess up your show.
No, I appreciate it. You're a pro.
Yeah, I know you haven't had me on in a while, and
Why is it so hard to book you these days? I mean, I feel like you're so busy.
Yeah, ever since I started doing that Jackson podcast,
blowing up.
Yeah, but it's like that shit keeps me busy. So I'm trying to do that and train twice a day and have a sex life. Thank God my sex life only lasts 30 seconds at a time. Then, I got a bunch of kids now. I haven't had another kid since the last time I talked to you.
Really?
I be trying. Oh, yeah, I got a bunch of kids.
How many total?
5.
Okay. Are you done?
Hell no. I need a Middle Eastern one, and I need a Hispanic one. Then I have all the major food groups.
Okay. Do you enjoy doing the podcast?
Yeah, I do. I enjoy doing the podcast, but I think I'm
you pause.
I think I'm yeah. Cause sometimes I don't enjoy it because I'm a Gemini. Some days some days I just don't feel like being around nobody. I just like to stay home.
Yeah.
And someday I got to go in. I got to be social, and I'm kind of socially awkward.
You think so?
Yeah. So I used to be a big people person, but now I think I'm socially awkward. Some days I don't want to be around nobody.
Why do you think that happened?
I think ever since the Chuck Liddell fight, is you got I guess got super popular overnight, and then and it's still hard for me to get used to it. Even after all these years, I'm still not used to it because when I wake up in the morning, brush my teeth, I look in the mirror, I see the same guy that I was in high school before all this, and then soon you leave your house, you go to the wrong place, you got to take 50 pictures and shit, and it's even when you don't feel like it, do I be an asshole today or do I be nice and stand there and take a bunch of pictures? And then people, it's not just the pictures. Sometimes people want to talk to you about stuff that you already talked about with people 100 times, and it's just taxing. But I don't think I would complain if it wasn't just only men. I think I would like I like the attention from women and stuff. But hey, I got hit on by 2 hot chicks last night at the restaurant lounge. So that kind of like
they came up to you.
Yeah, they came up to me. They didn't know who I was. Women never know who I was before. Boy, I was fresh to death. I was fresh to death yesterday. And me and my homeboy, we came back from a meeting in LA and we just stopped to get some food. And I went to the restroom and he said, "Hey man, that hot chick smiled at me." I said, "Well shit, let's give him some drinks." So we sent them some drinks to the table and they came over and thanked us. Like I wanted to give them drinks and then not say nothing because when you buy a girl a drink, guys always, go over there and, get in their face. Girls used to getting drinks. So I wanted to be like, "Hi, I'm a little different." Just give them drinks and, that's it. They still think. But they came over and started talking to me, asked me for my phone numbers and everything.
Wow.
I hooked the black chick up with Congo and I got the Persian chick's number. Like I FaceTime Congo and she saw Congo, her eyes got big. She said, "Whoa," because she speak a little French and her and Congo chatting, speaking French. I hooked Congo up and got me one and I got the Mexican, it was a Mexican one there too. She's like a little older lady and she said, "Find somebody for me." She said she want a white boy. I was like, so I got to find her a white boy.
Luke Rockhold.
Good idea, but she older. Luke model. Luke be getting a dime. She probably used to be a dime like 20 years ago. She's beautiful though, but she was a little bit older than the other 2 girls.
Must be nice to have people come up to you and not know who you are, right? And just
I like that when women come up to me, they don't know who I am. I like that, and then I could be myself. But most of the time, as soon as that happens, 5 minutes later, some dude come up and ask me for a picture. Then,
but isn't that kind of good? Aren't you happy when that happens? Because then it's like, oh, you didn't mention it, and then you get the street cred.
No, because I got a weird personality. I like to joke around and laugh, and I be trying to be incognito. And sometimes people think my jokes are like, oh, he's just telling jokes because he's famous like that. No, it's not me. It's just how I am. I just be trying to walk around, man. I just be trying to like blend in.
By the way, I do want to thank you. Speaking of the podcast, I saw a clip recently where Bobby Green was talking about, coming on the show, or King Green, and then I think your co-host was like, "Don't go on his show," and you were like, "Nah, you should go on Ariel's show." And a lot of people sent that to me saying that like you had my back and you were showing love, despite sometimes, appearing like you don't like me. I felt like that was your way of being like, "Yeah, I fucks with Ariel. That's my guy."
Over the years, I fuck with you because, you stopped hating on me. The last time you hated on me when I went to Bellator. And then, I have a forgiving heart because I'm the son of the Most High.
Yes.
So,
amen.
So I have a forgiving heart. So I forgave you and stuff, even though you cost me a lot of money and you cost me a girl that gave me threesomes and stuff. We're not going to talk about that no more. But I think that you are a good journalist. And I feel like you don't hate on other fighters. You just hate on a few. And I think that you have a huge platform. And Bobby Green, I really like his personality. I wish more fighters would be outspoken and stuff like him. He should do more press and everything. So I was like, yeah, it's good. And my co-host Bear, he's a good guy. He's a really good dude. But I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing about him that I won't say to his motherfucking face. He's a control freak. He want to control every goddamn thing. So he want just the people to come and sit down with him. But like, bro, this is a podcast. It's not an interview. Like, it's different.
Well, I mean, I think it's both, but you shouldn't be exclusive to one show, right? If you're trying to get your name out there, you have to kind of be smart. Unless he's like an actual person, but even you go on other shows and talk to other people, it all comes back to the show anyway. It's all good.
Right.
The cream rises. The rising tide lifts all boats. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, right. I bet you make a lot of cream rise, don't you? Don't you, Eric?
Yes.
Come on, I knew it.
Can I ask you about this Rashad stuff? Is it true? Is this happening? I saw him do an interview recently, and I think there was some talk of you guys fighting in one championship. Where does this all stand?
All right, let me break it down.
Please.
I haven't been very voicious about it because the shit happened between me and Shannon Briggs.
Yeah, well, okay, what happened there?
We got scammed by some scammers in Qatar that was from Pakistan but living in Qatar, acting like they was Qatarians. And I think allegedly the scam was to act like they putting on the fight and get investors and sponsors. I still can't figure out for the life of me what this guy's scam was, because I was spending hours on the phone with this guy and he was promising me a whole lot of stuff to do my own league over there and everything and all this stuff. Anyway, promising me like mansions in Dubai. I was like, "It's too good to be true." He was talking about giving me a lead over there, and he said I could make like $30 million a fucking year once they went full with the investment, because he was going to do like a big MMA show, and he was going to let me put my influence in. He showed me an arena. So I was like, okay. So I was trying to stick it out. Then Shannon Briggs went off on the guy, like, "No, you full of shit. I did my research." But Shannon Briggs is the one that brought him to me. And he said, "I did my research." And the guy was supposed to send Shannon a deposit, and he never did it past the due date on the contract. So Shannon pulled out, and I ain't gonna lie, my ass was still holding on because he had sold me a motherfucking dream. And I was talking to him all the time. I just didn't feel like he was scamming. Come find out, Shannon was right. He was scamming. So now, time go by, and Rashad and I talk, because Rashad come on the podcast, and I told him, "Man, I'm getting up there in age. I want to get that get back before I get too old, because I had to fight Rashad, or the UFC is going to sue me as soon as I got off the damn movie, the 18 movie. Because remember, we were supposed to fight in Memphis in my hometown, but I chose the movie over fighting Rashad. And so I knew I wasn't like really prepared, not being able to train for 6 months, then cold, just go right into a training camp. It just wasn't right for me. That's my excuse for losing. But and so he's like, "Yeah, let's do it back, but let's do it boxing." I'm like, "All right, fuck it. Let's box," because I always wanted to box before I got too old. So Rashad knew some promoters, and we was working with one group first, and they was offering a video game, do all this stuff. But like I said, they didn't come through, and then this other promoter offered more money to do it, and we signed the contract.
Oh.
I'm supposed to get the deposit this week, and when I get the deposit, then it's real for me, because I ain't doing this scam shit. I got scammed once, wasted all my motherfucking time. So as soon as I get the deposit, I'm talking about. But Rashad said it's real.
Wow.
So I think that's what Tiki was calling me about. That's why he disturbed our interview. And so as soon as I get the deposit, you're gonna see me talking about it more. Rashad can talk about all he wants. I'm not letting my fans down no more. And so it is supposed to go down to Florida sometime in February. That's all I know right now. I didn't really get the name of the I did get the name of the promotion, but I don't remember it. They told it to me instead of texting it to me, so it went in one ear out the other. But I trust Rashad to put a fight together, because he know deep down inside that he had a layup with that fight, because what I'm saying, he knew I wasn't at 100%, but and he know I still almost beat him. Herb Dean could have stopped that fight in the moment when I was ground and pounding, but that's a whole nother different interview. But after I knock out Rashad, I'm coming for Jake Paul's neck, because I see him trying to bully Conor McGregor. So I did a tweet. I'm waiting for him to tweet me back. He talking about he want to fight Conor McGregor in MMA and stuff like that. Conor McGregor going through some other bullshit with false allegations and getting sued and shit like that. So what I'm saying, and Conor McGregor, what I'm saying, he the king of MMA right now. So you got to lay off MMA, Jake Paul. He already pissed me off what he did with Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? I ain't playing around with Jake Paul. So Rashad Evans, he can get it first. And even though I'm 46, and what I'm saying, I think with Bioaccelerator, always taking care of me, giving me stem cells. That's why I'm looking so thin. That's why you notice I'm looking thin. I'm trying to get into shape. Bioaccelerator out in Colombia, bro, they changed my life. I think that I will have enough energy to beat the shit out of Rashad Evans, and Jake Paul can come in and get in the ring the same night, and I fuck them both up. That's how I feel with this stem cell. All you people out there that were skeptical about stem cells, and you listen to the American pharmaceuticals and the doctors and all those big words that my black ass ain't even gonna try to pronounce. Y'all been sleeping on stem cells. I told y'all that shit worked. Shit healed me up. It got me back in shape. It got rid of my problem that I had when I got misdiagnosed with hypothyroid. Bioaccelerator changed my life, and I'm ready to kick everybody ass. Ariel, you keep talking shit, I'm gonna come and kick your ass.
I want to be in your corner. Can I be in your corner for your return fight? I want to hold the spit bucket. Imagine that.
Man. I'm thinking about having Riddick Bowe in my corner, because
well, there could be more than one person. No.
How many people you can get in your corner?
I think 4.
All right, we'll think about it, because I got to get Coach Bobby, and right now I'm getting trained by my boxing coach Yogi, because Coach Bobby is in Saudi Arabia training at Mike Tyson gym.
Oh,
he's turning those guys out there into boxers. They already winning belts and stuff. Because Saudi Arabia, they want to bring up a new generation of boxing. So I didn't lose Coach Bobby, but I miss him. He just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Coach Bobby. We miss you in America. And Coach Yogi and Riddick Bowe. Okay, maybe I can get you, but you got to come on my podcast though.
I would love. I told you I would love it. You only do in person, and I haven't been since you brought this up. I haven't been Anaheim, right? Is that where you do it, or OC?
No, Newport. Yeah, you got to get on the airplane. We'll fly you out. You got to fly coach though, because you ain't never. Nah, yeah, man.
And I want some of that jewelry too.
We're gonna lace you up. We're gonna lace you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna lace you
with
up
the bling bling.
We'll lace you up with the bling, a watch. We're gonna give you some.
So much ice you can skate on me.
Yeah. Man, you gotta say no Diddy after some of the stuff you be saying.
Well, I don't do that. By the way, you said a lot there. Can I just ask a couple of follow-ups? When you say they scammed you, the Shannon Briggs thing, did they take money from you, or did they just waste your time? Okay, all right. Well,
yeah. They waste my time. I still feel like they got scammed because I was on the phone with this guy for hours.
I get it. But at least they didn't take money from you or something like that.
No, but that was time. We could have
sure.
went somebody else. I turned down a fight. Somebody else wanted me to fight. I think damn, I'm bad with names, but it was another promotion that wanted me to fight. It was like a quick little. It wasn't the type of money that I normally get, but I wanted to do a boxing match. I think it was still $1 million or so, and I turned that shit down.
Now, okay, and is the one championship thing real?
I don't know if this promoter is in bed with one championship, so I can't speak on that. You got to ask Rashad. Rashad talk to them all the time. These Rashad people.
Okay, fair. And then is it, just to confirm, is it boxing or MMA?
It's boxing.
It's boxing, okay. And what weight?
Heavyweight.
I thought it would be super heavyweight.
That's the pretty sharp move in the nominal 10-year rates. And I would argue rightfully so, because to your point, we have good economic growth, unemployment is generally low, wages are increasing at a faster rate than inflation, the Fed is actually cutting rates rather than raising rates. So everything is lined up well for equities and for earnings generally. But the problem is once you start going above 4.5, and when you start getting to the threshold of roughly 5%, at least empirically based on what we have looked at, the negative correlation between rising rates and equities kicks in, mainly because the concerns then move towards inflation. And right now, it's not just inflation, the concern, the deficits, the scale of it. We are running 7% budget deficits at a time when unemployment is low and economic growth is extremely robust. So it's not supposed to happen, right? And so, I think it's contained for right now, and equities are hanging in there. That's something you want to watch on, which is, what happens to inflation? For example, the policy trigger. Do the pro-growth policies work? But by working, they also trigger inflation.
Well, you're going, we started off the show talking about Trump, and he's kind of, he's named his core cabinet positions. There's a lot of cross currents there into taxes and deregulation, but also tariffs. I'm curious, just as a strategist, you must get a lot of questions from clients about this. What are you telling them? How do you navigate that?
All the time. Now, in all fairness, it is something which is almost practically next to impossible to model because of the uncertainty of the combinations and not knowing what is going to be the magnitude, what is going to be the timing. Is it a negotiating tool? Are they dead serious about it? How quickly do they move? And all that, right? But I think what you can start doing is putting the pieces together and say, what does each one of them say? So for example, tariffs is a very important issue on which on the campaign, they talked about 60% on China and 10% across the board, rest of the world, right? If that happens, our estimates suggest that the hit to S&P earnings are going to be more than 5%, in that range. Not excruciatingly bad, but reasonably bad, right? On the other hand, if it is more of a negotiating position and you end up 50% of that, not the whole thing, it's going to be about 2%, practically insignificant in the big scheme of things. But I think what this still doesn't address is what I call the second-order effects. And those second-order effects are the impact of tariffs and of tighter immigration on inflation, on economic growth. So for example, our economists think that if they go ahead full steam with that 60%, 10% combination, then the upwards impact on inflation in year one can be close to 100 basis points, basically 90 basis points. And the downward impact on US economic growth is going to be negative 1.4%. That's our economist's view, right? Now, people can argue whether that happens or not, but those are the kind of issues we're looking at, and that is quite significant. Similarly, if the full extent of the tax policies are actually implemented, then the deficit situation is going to go a lot worse, not better, right? So I think ultimately, I do feel that this is a pro-growth government, which is going to be extremely market-friendly and good for the animal spirits, good for corporate activities, good for investment. But at the same time, you need to find out what the corresponding impact is. They have to be trade-offs. If you're fiscally expansionary, then you need to figure out a way in which you cut your expenses, right? So at some point, you've got to find a balance. And I think the market seems reasonably optimistic. But I would hazard to say that the focus thus far has been a lot of unbridled enthusiasm. And that's why our outlook, we've said it should be bridled enthusiasm, because we are tending to focus more and more on the positives. But I think it's also worth taking a look at what the other side of the token are, and then take into consideration, even though, to your question, it is not that easy to pin it down exactly.
Well, I think the only thing that will pin it down is time, which will help us figure it out. Venu, thank you so much for coming in. Really great to get your perspective and your forecast. Well, coming up, could a new California EV credit exclude Tesla from its proposal? We'll discuss on the other side. Much more market domination still to come.
Surprised that John Jones won. I was just surprised at how he won, and I see how smart John Jones is. He was right. He don't have knockout power in his hand, so he had to use like other techniques. That spinning back kick is good. But one thing I'm kind of disappointed in John Jones, and don't take me wrong, I respect John Jones. The guy beat me at my best. I got no excuses for John Jones other than eye poking and kicking my knee back and all that bullshit and crawling inside the ring and all that motherfucking shit. But other than that, I got no excuses. I was trying to say that without laughing myself. Anyway. I got no excuses. That was my first time losing a fight where I was close to 100%, right? And but when I fought John Jones, I don't know if you guys remember. I remember people say, "Oh, who you fight next?" I was like, "John Jones." I was like, "Who was that?" It was like, "Who was that?" And his thing, I heard the interview. He said he didn't want to give Asinal a fight because people didn't really, he felt like Asinal would make a name off his back. I was like, but John Jones, like when I fought you. Saying nobody really knew who you were. You wasn't a superstar yet. And I think we forget that as a fighter, that's what the UFC do. The older guy passes the younger guy torch. But I feel like John Jones' last performance, I don't even think any heavyweight could beat John Jones. I think he solidified himself as like one of the greatest fighters on the planet. And no disrespect to Aspinall, I think Aspinall is a great fighter. I'm a fan of his as well, but I figured Stipe would be a tougher challenge than Aspinall.
Really? You think Stipe is a tougher fight for John than Aspinall? Aspinall's like 11 years old or 12 years old, 12 years younger. Sorry.
I was thinking that like on paper. Now hear me out.
Yeah.
I think John Jones is the Neo of MMA. He's Neo.
Don't hate me for asking this question. Who's Neo?
Motherfucker, you ain't never seen Matrix, one of the best motherfucking movie series ever made?
Keanu Reeves. I know that. Is he Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
All right.
Neo.
Yeah, that's my guy. That's my boy.
Right, so, you can't say that now because you didn't know what the fuck. You can't say that.
I know Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's a classic. Yeah. You saw that?
Yeah, when I was like 12.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, pretty good sequel, if I may say so myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, what does that mean, Neo, though? For those that may know, of course I know what you're talking about, but for the audience out there who don't know who Neo is or what he's about.
I think the reason why John Jones has been so successful in MMA and been dominating for so long is because his mind is super strong. You know, I've been in the cage with that kid, and I heavily underestimated him, and I've been watching his fights ever since. And I see the stuff that he do. He was doing stuff that nobody was doing. Nobody was doing spinning elbows, even though they was illegal because it was in the back of your head. But it was a good technique. Wasn't nobody doing stuff like that. And this is the way he controls the octagon, the way he does everything. His mind is really strong. And I've been telling people for years, I think MMA is 95% mental. And I used to be able to tap into that mental game a lot more when I was younger with less injuries. And he's figured out a way to bypass those doubts and stuff. And I'm convinced that he has like a real good sports psychologist or something, because he knows how to bypass those doubts. Because whenever you fighting, and you always have like those doubts, but you gotta push those doubts out and put like 1,000 more images of positivity and positive thoughts in your mind. And John Jones, he's hacked the process. He's Neo.
Mm. So you give him the respect. You show, because I saw you posted that picture of him from that movie, the Damon Wayans character. You put.
Whoa! I didn't say that was John Jones.
Oh, okay, that was just someone. Okay, sorry. That's a great movie. I actually saw that movie. I love that movie. I think it was called The Great White. Was it Great White Hype? I think it was Great White Hype.
Yeah. But wait. Why did you think it was John Jones? Because he's black.
Nah. I mean,
no. Why do you think that was John Jones?
I just, you posted it around the same time of his fight.
It was a great fight, great weekend of fight.
It was.
But listen, I'm gonna say something. Listen, I like to joke around and laugh. You know what I'm saying? If anybody get butt hurt about anything I say, that just shows your lack of sense of humor. You know what I'm saying? People make fun of me. My co-host Bear make fun of me every motherfucking day, and if it's funny, I laugh. And sometimes I play it off like I'm mad because this is me. I like joking around. So I'm gonna make fun of all MMA fighters. People make fun of me when I fought Fedor. I was fat as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I had to take it. It sucked, but I had to take it. John Jones, he wasn't fat. He wasn't out of shape or nothing like that. But he's a heavyweight. I'm used to seeing him at light heavyweight. So I like to joke around. And now that I'm still like a fat guy. I used to be fat, and just like black folks could call other black people nigger, you know what I'm saying? Fat folks would call other fat folks fat.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't know anything about that, but
I bet you talk shit about people with big noses. You don't.
But by the way, it is a fair point, because I will make fun of my own nose. Helwani knows all that stuff. El Nariz, of course. I need to get you some of my merch. I got merch over on ArielHelwani.com if you want to rock it. Would you wear any of it?
I gotta look at it first. I ain't gonna lie. If it's fresh, I wear it. But I'll show you support. Once you come on my podcast,
all right.
bring I wear size large now. Bring me a large.
Yeah, right. You wear size large. I wear XL.
I wear large. I like my shirt tight so I can show these guns.
By the way, forget Cali. We still haven't done the Memphis walk and talk. We did Japan, we did New York, and it was supposed to be on you to invite me to Memphis. Never did. You said you were going to show me your hood, where you grew up, meet your family.
Yeah, we got to. Yeah, we got to do it. I think we fell out. That's why. We fell out.
It was so crazy. You had to tell them to bring in another interviewer to interview you. You know how much that hurt me?
Hey, you shouldn't hate it on me when I went to Bellator.
It's crazy.
Look what happened to Bellator after I went there. I was the first big name to go over there.
Yeah.
The Keto problem. Look what happened. Look what happened to Bellator.
You see Bellator now. Man. All the fighters are complaining.
Yeah, because it ain't my fault. They didn't know what the fuck they was doing. They didn't promote shit. It was a clusterfuck. I'm like, how you guys be owned by Paramount and they got all these channels and stuff y'all can promote and they ain't promoting. So I found out. I did a little research, a little digging, and all them motherfucking channels they compete with each other. They ain't helping each other.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good that there's only two major promotions, right? This is not good for the fighters.
No, it's not good for the fight. But what I'm doing now is I'm developing my own amateur MMA league.
Oh,
I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now. So early 25, I'm going to do my own MMA league. And so you know some people that want to sponsor some MMA league. I'm going to try to get on one of these streaming platforms. I'm not going to say no names not yet, but I'm bringing something a little bit different. Y'all know how I do, and I'm just going to try to put on the most exciting fights and get these amateurs ready for the pros.
Okay, and when is that? In 2025, early 2025, mid, late?
Yeah. No, early. It's coming soon. I'm getting everything done. I'm doing all the all the stuff you gotta do. The website. I got the deck going. I'm finna make the shorts for the guys. Get the gloves. My business partner Harrison Rogers over at F3 Energy and UFL. He's hooking me up with some MMA gloves. I'm getting all that stuff, and I got Antonio McKee helping me source the ring and do all that stuff because I have these ideas, but I don't know how to do the grunt work, and I'm too big to do all that stuff. But I'm gonna put a lot of energy into making this amateur league a real dope league, and I want to invite everybody to support these amateur fighters because these guys might be your next superstars. They might be your next favorite fighters.
I love how entrepreneurial you are now in your current form. I love this.
Yeah, man.
You got there's some guys who just kind of fade away and maybe be grumpy and like look at you, like you're giving back, you're trying to help out the new generation, you've got a podcast giving fighters a platform, you're working with sponsors. You've really turned out to be a really solid citizen in this MMA world.
Well,
I'm proud of you.
I'm not gonna lie. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I kind of lost the love for MMA for a while. I'm not going to point fingers at nobody. I'm not going to point fingers at nobody. But some people took the love of this sport from me. But I fell in love with this sport. And when Bear asked me to do a podcast over there at Jackson, I hadn't been watching MMA and stuff that much. I only watched like Conor McGregor fight. I'm a big fan of Conor McGregor, and I watched some of my friends fight and stuff like that. But I've been out of the loop for a while, and so now I'm watching fights and stuff again and getting back in, and I got my love back. And my son is fighting, and I want him to do well and stuff like that. So I want to get real involved and get these. I want to teach these up and comers and little stuff to help me out. And during COVID, I actually wrote a book, MMA book, and I just found out that instead of just trying to go through a publisher, I can just put it on Amazon myself because I was trying to get it published, right? And the guy, I guess him and his team and his assistant and secretary, whoever they are, they Googled me, looked me up, and they saw that I humped a reporter. And they was like, "Oh, we can't publish your book because you humped a reporter." And I was like, thinking to myself, should I tell him that was a skit back in the day before those skits? Like a lot of people believe everything they see on the internet. Should I go through that? Or I said, you know what? I ain't gonna waste my time. And so I just decided to tell him, I said, all right, it's okay. I respect your decision, but just remember that O.J. Simpson got a book.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, that's a good point. So what happened?
The motherfuckers didn't publish my book. And so I just put it on the back burner. It's been there for years. I could keep adding to it. but it's not like a traditional book. It's more like a manual that fighters can take to the gym with them, and it's basically it's teaching them a lot of stuff that I wish somebody would have taught me when I first was coming up, because it's no secret I got ripped off by managers. You know what I'm saying? I got fucked over by promoters. I lost friends, gained fake friends. So my book, I don't want to get into it too much, but it'll be coming out here pretty soon. It's getting edited now by my friend Papa Vasquez. I think he cousin to Cain Velasquez, but he looked just like that motherfucker. But he won't admit that he related to him. So he's editing it right now as we speak, and hopefully soon I'll put out there on Amazon. But I'll let y'all know when it's out. It's
I would love to read it.
Yeah, it's a manual you take to the gym with you, and you keep it with you in your gym bag, and you have like a little pen with you, and you what I'm saying, you take your notes and you make sure you're on the right path to being a successful MMA fighter.
Okay. One last quick thing. I saw you in Colombia, and the kids were loving you there. It was really nice to see. Do these kids, you think they know you? And maybe they know you because of our videos having a second and third life on the internet. Maybe I'm responsible for this. I don't know. You tell me. I mean, I don't want to take credit. Far be it for me to do such a thing. But it was really nice to see. I saw some of the footage of you over there in the streets of Colombia hanging with the kids.
Fuck those kids. They tried to rob me. They thought I was LeBron James.
These guys?
Oh, no, not those guys.
Okay.
I love those guys.
These guys are doing splits and stuff.
Yeah, those guys, they was cool. That kid beat me in a dance battle. So, yeah, fuck him, too. He
Look
beat
at
me
you.
in a damn... I was trying to get jiggy with it a little bit, but that little motherfucker beat me.
Wait, who tried to rob you?
No, I thought you were the other one. When I left this area, I was walking out of that whole area, and then some other kids thought I was LeBron James. They were trying to rob me.
Like legit rob you?
No, they were trying to jump me. I think they was playing.
These kids?
Oh, yeah, they were trying to fight me. They thought I was LeBron James. They kept calling me LeBron James
On the basketball court.
I tell like, I'm not no strangers to getting jumped. I done fought 4 motherfuckers. Oh, you saw that crescent?
Yeah, that was nice.
Oh yeah, I didn't even stretch. I didn't even warm up. I would kick those little kids' ass. So you got to when you're getting jumped, you got to put your back to the wall so people can't get behind you.
That's true, man. It's like, what is this? This is like 8-on-1 now.
Yeah. No, they're joking. They wasn't trying. They were just playing. They thought it was LeBron James. Then one guy that spoke Spanish. So no, he's an MMA fighter. And they said, "Oh, let's play."
God, you're so beloved. I do have to say, I genuinely love you, like a brother. If you called me today and said, "Ariel, I need a place to live," I would bring you in my family. I would put you in a guest room, and I would treat you like one of my own.
Ariel Helwani, I'm glad you said that. I'm trying to buy a $2 million house.
I think I'm busy. The connection is all. What's up with that VPN? We got
what?
You there?
What? Bro, come on. Come on now.
I love you.
Just say something like. You can't just say something like that.
I said I'd give you my home as your home.
No,
I'm giving you a home.
No, look, you all rich and shit. Coast down for a brother. I'm trying to get this $2 million house out here in Huntington Beach. Look a nigga up.
I'll give you the shirt off my back, and what a nice shirt it is. I'll do anything for you. Honestly, the love. You've I think maybe taken my friendship and love for granted at times, but I've never wavered. I've always stood by your side.
All right, I appreciate it. I'm just doing.
I called you on text. I was like, "Yo, Unc, can you come on the show?" And you were like, "What do you call me?"
Yeah, I just like fucking with you.
Oh, because I was like, shit, did I offend him? That's the greatest sign of respect. Like you're my uncle.
Man, you haven't after all these years, you haven't noticed that I just like fucking with you. I just like trolling you.
Well, I love you too. I love you too. Thank you for coming on. Continued success with the podcast. You've given us a lot of time here today. We appreciate you very much, and I can't wait to be a guest on your show in 2025. And I want to come to Memphis too. Walking in Memphis. Nah.
We do that. I brought like a bunch of land in my hometown, and me and my childhood wrestling buddy, Chris Eubank, we building 215 houses. So when you come to Memphis, because I gotta go there and check on the land and stuff like that. When you come to Memphis, I'll take you there to the land that I bought. So I have a piece of Memphis now. I own a piece of Memphis. I'll take you to my hood and stuff like that. Then I'll show you like what I'm building. And so I'm building myself a sick ass house that I'm never going to live in, but my parents and stuff can live there and stuff.
Good for you. Well done, Rampage. Love you. Take care.
Much love, brother.
All right. There he is. The great Quinton Rampage Jackson. What a guy. Adore him like a brother, like one of my own. And always great to have him on the show. Yeah, there he is. Oh, we should have played that when he was on.
Yeah, there's a few times, but I don't want to freak him out, you know?
You might have been busy also during the...
Absolutely.
Is it...
Just putting out my resume to different places right now. So
yeah. We could talk about it later.
Yeah,
Should we talk about it later? I mean, I looked down and I was like, wow, people are really liking this interview. And then I was like, wait a second.
So
what's happening? We'll talk about it later.
Oh, yeah, offline.
Yeah, we'll offline. All right, let's get to our next guest, our final guest of the day. And he is returning to action. We found out about, again, like I said, fun show, bit of an OG show, if you will. Some people who have been very kind to us over the years and still very much in the game. And no one more so than our next guest, returning to action on January the 25th in Philly. Home game for him. Been a while. Wells Fargo Center. Knucklemania 5 against Jeremy Stevens. It's the pride of Philadelphia, the underground king, the one and only Eddie Alvarez. Yeah, there he is in the familiar spot. Hello, Eddie. How are you?
What's up, Ariel? How's it going, buddy?
Everything is going great. Great to talk to you as always. It's been a great day. And when I found out about this last week, loved it for two reasons. You're still going, great. Jeremy fight, great. But probably the most exciting about it is the Philly component. Obviously, you're very proud to be from Philly. Knucklemania's debut in Philly, BKFC's debut in Philly, Feldman, a Philly guy. It checks off all the boxes. Is that the reason why you're taking this fight? Or if this was happening in any other state, in any other city, you're still fighting against Jeremy Stevens?
That's a large part of the reason. I think when I joined Bare-Knuckle, part of that was to deliver Philadelphia to Dave Feldman to Bare-Knuckle and kind of make that my added value to the company. So that was a big part of the reason for me joining, is that I thought that'd be a possibility. I haven't fought in Philadelphia, and I mean the only time I ever fought in Philadelphia was against Roger Huerta in Bellator back in like maybe 13, 14 years ago. And it was an awesome experience then, and it'll be a better one now.
Yes, Bellator 33 in 2010. That's when you fought Roger Huerta. Crazy, right? What do you remember about that?
I remember we sold out the Liacouras Center. I think I sold like 900 orange T-shirts. They were the colors of the Flyers, I think. And I stopped Roger at the stool in the second round. He never came out. I felt the fans behind me. I felt the spirit of the stadium, the spirit of Philadelphia, and I'm looking forward to feeling that again in my hometown. And there's really nothing like it. And I used to love fighting locally back in Atlantic City, near New Jersey, when my hometown fans would be able to enjoy it. And fighting became less fun the minute I had to travel and get on bigger contracts and TV and stuff. That it was funner when it was local.
Your last fight was in December of last year, so it's been pretty much a year since your last fight. Any particular reason why you essentially took this year off?
I took this year off because my orbital got broken my last fight, and I didn't want to. There was no rush to kind of get back into sparring, get my face punched, this and that. So I gave myself not just ample time, but like extra time. I didn't need surgery or anything like that, but I just wanted to give my body enough time to heal, so I didn't have like a re-injury or anything like that. So I gave it like plenty of time to rest up, to get better, to get back to action.
Considering that, was there any talk of not fighting again? Was there any consideration?
Honestly, the last 5 years, I'm back and forth with my family members, and you know, me and Jamie talk about the idea of retiring and stuff like that. But like, I'm just kind of sick of talking about it. I just kind of do my own thing. If it feels right to fight, and I'm in the gym and I'm feeling good and this and that, I'll go fight. I don't look at it. I look at fighting as an opportunity. It's not a career. I don't think it's a career, and I never looked at it as a career. It's an opportunity to compete. And as long as I can compete at a high level, I take advantage of the opportunity given to me.
I'm not going to harp on this, but the only other question I'll ask on it is it's storybook to end it where it all started, right? In Philly. Is there a chance this is the the last dance, if you will?
I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know.
Okay.
I couldn't say that. I don't know because I felt like retiring 5, 10, 15 different times already throughout my career, and I've never stuck to it. I never talked about it publicly to anybody, but I've never stuck to my thoughts. My thoughts and feelings are like crazy temporary. That's all that's ever came to how I feel about that is that I realize that my thoughts and feelings are like really temporary, and I really should just not make decisions, especially based like after or before a single fight. So, and no, that won't be a subject going into this fight at all. The only subject is Philadelphia sold out Wells Fargo.
And I'm not surprised to hear that. DJ told us that you shared with him the story of like, the day you'll retire is when you'll be at a coffee shop with your wife and say, I'm done, and not make a big to-do about it. So I'm not expecting you to do that sort of thing. And he said he was going to adopt the same thing, although there he was in a one cage, crying and whatnot, getting the whole celebration, which I thought was fun, which I'd love to see for you as well. Did you see what they did for him? Because I thought it was pretty classy and it was well deserved.
I did. I think one won at that moment. You know what I mean? One won at that moment. And, and maybe in his contract, regardless, he had to do that moment for one in order to get them that exposure or something. But
you think that was more about one than him?
I don't know. Because I know I talked to DJ about the possibility of retiring. Like we've spoken about it over the years, plenty of times. Like when that time comes, like what it's going to look like for each of us individually. And he was like, I told him mine, and he's like, wow, I never thought about that. And I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, this all initially started with me and my wife getting on this journey, and I think it, maybe end there. I thought it was a good idea, and we talked about it, and we moved forward and did it. And I don't know if it needs to be a public thing. When I want to be done, I'll be having a cup of coffee one day, and I'll say, hey, that was fucking awesome, and we're done.
Did you like the idea of this fight, this Stevens fight?
I did. I would have. I looked at a number of different, maybe not a number of different opponents, but we were trying to find, as big a name as we could. The same thing we've been doing since the beginning. We had Chad first, and then Mike Perry. We were just trying to find a big name that fans would get excited about. And Jeremy pretty much was. I want to say he was one of the only ones to step up in that rung of names to say I'll fight. So it didn't really matter for me as long as I got the Wells Fargo. The opponent didn't matter, and it won't matter the night of the fight. If Jeremy shows up, then great. If he doesn't, and if it's someone else, it's really not going to matter. In Philadelphia, I'm a different animal.
What weight is this at?
165.
Okay, that's perfect for you, right?
That's my premier weight. 65 is my premier weight. 55 it's very difficult. It would be very difficult for me now. And 75 is just I'm not a 75-pound man like that. I'm out of my rung at 175. So 65 is like I'm at the top of my weight class at 65.
Is this the main event?
Yeah.
It is, okay, because it hadn't been mentioned as such. So I wasn't sure, because Knucklemania is usually their biggest show of the year. It's like their Super Bowl or WrestleMania. Do you know, I'm assuming some other big names, I think of big cards for BKFC, I think Mike Perry, that hasn't been announced yet. I think there's a presser tomorrow, right, in Philly? Maybe more will be announced then?
Not tomorrow. It got pushed back to, I think, December 2nd, I believe.
Oh, okay.
It's 1 week later. I don't know who the co-main is yet. I think they're still going through that. Could be some heavyweights, could be a number of different guys, but I don't know if Mike Perry's going to be on the card. I have no clue. I just know we'll be the main event at the Wells Fargo, and Philadelphia is going to sell out the event, and whoever shows up on the other side of the cage that night, they'll be in trouble.
Do you like the direction that BKFC is going? For example, Conor McGregor, now a big part of them. He's kind of become the face of the promotion and I think invested in the company as well. How do you feel about that?
You were just breaking up big time, Ariel.
Did you hear me?
You said, do I like a direction of BKFC? I heard something about Conor McGregor, but then it just started going odd and weird.
Do you hear me now? All good?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just asking what you thought of Conor being an investor in the company, the face of the company in many respects. How do you feel about this?
I think, like, for Bare-Knuckle, I think that's the closest and fastest way to gain exposure and world recognition. When Conor enters anything, it immediately gets attention. Like, it immediately demands attention. So I think that was the fastest way to kind of get that. And I understand their move to do it. And I think he's been on the sidelines kind of with his eye on Bare-Knuckle from the very beginning. He was at the Chad fight. Again, I think he was at other fights besides the Chad fight, but I think he's had his eye on this thing since it begun. And I think the Chad fight was when I think he really made the decision that he wanted to be a part of something like this.
It doesn't feel to me like he's like half-assing it. He feels very invested. He's tweeting about it. He seems very much into the product. Him being around fight week, we don't know, but would you be okay with that?
Yeah. I don't have, like, people assume since I fought Conor or I took a loss to Conor that, like, there would be some sort of animosity. Like, there's nothing personal in fighting for me ever. Like, there's very few guys that I stood across the ring from that I dislike. So I've never actually talked to Conor, like, on a level outside of promoting a fight when we're talking shit back and forth. So I don't even know who he is. I couldn't even tell you the type of person he is or anything like that. I don't know him. I know other opponents. I know, like, Justin Gaethje kind of well. We hung out quite a bit. There's other opponents that I interacted with more. I just never interacted with Conor, so I don't know him. I don't know what type of dude he is or what he's like.
You're probably.
But I do know that with him involved, you know, we're recognized around the world immediately. I know that.
Sure. No, he's brought a lot of attention, and I would say that you're probably the best person to ask this question to because you have been in the game for so long and fought for so many different promotions. Do you like the direction that BKFC is going? Because it does feel for me like they are doing a lot of good things, gaining a lot of momentum. The Conor deal brought them a lot of attention. The DAZN deal has brought them a lot of attention and a consistent home to watch their events. And when you consider what PFL is going through and some of the negative press that they're getting from the Bellator fighters complaining that they're not getting fights, BKFC, while not specifically MMA, and certainly leaning towards MMA fighters and fans, has a real opportunity to gain a large portion of the non-UFC market share. And so based on what you're seeing, how the company is operating and moving towards, do you like the steps that they are taking?
I love it. And I knew this after the Chad Mendes fight. I got out of the ring. I looked around the ring. Conor McGregor was there, Kamaru Usman, Justin Gaethje. I looked around. I said, we're entertaining the most entertaining fighters in the world. So, like, we became the entertainment point of the fighters, the entertaining fighters. Like, where do they go to seek entertainment? And it was Bare-Knuckle they did. And it reminds me of Bellator when it first started, because what Bellator did that was smart was they kept their expenses low. They made sure they weren't overspending. And then what they also did was they never compared themselves to UFC. Bjorn Rebney would also be quoted all the time. And I don't want to take on the 500-pound gorilla, because he knew that there is no competition. This isn't a competition between Bare-Knuckle and UFC. Create some sort of something different on maybe a different night, and don't compete. Just be something cool, something different. And fans need that. Fans don't want to see MMA all the time. Sometimes they want something different. And Bare-Knuckle is just that. It's something different. It's not competing with the UFC. There is no competition with the UFC. UFC is in a league of their own, and they'll always be in a league of their own as far as MMA is concerned. I think it's foolish when I hear other promoters, almost every promoter I hear who gets an MMA promotion talk about how they're better than the UFC or they're going to compete with you. It's so silly. Like, stop that. It's nonsense. You're not going to be close, and you should not talk like that. Just be your own thing. Be great at what you do. Try to differentiate yourself a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. Bellator did it because they went had their special day on a Thursday, and they were a tournament-based promotion, and they kept their promotion in little casinos where they would pay a site fee to them. So it kept them alive during the early stages. BKFC reminds me a lot like that. They're not competing with UFC. They're keeping their expenses where they need to be, and they're staying alive, and they're gaining foothold and gaining fans. So I see it as the fastest growing sport outside the UFC, and I don't even want to say they're a viable number 2 because they're not in competition. They'll be number 1 in the realm of bare-knuckle.
Why do you think, I'm just curious, given the landscape and the sport is so popular, maybe I should just say the UFC is so popular, why do you think there is, maybe now more so than ever, such a big gap between the UFC and everyone else?
Because no one's doing it right. I've been with every single one of these promotions. I've signed contracts with almost everyone. And the only one who's done it and had longevity is Bellator. And I paid really close attention when I was with their promotion about how they're behaving, how they're spending money, what they're doing, where we're fighting, all of that. And all that played a key on their longevity and how they stayed around so long. They're the only ones who've done it. Everybody else I've seen, they thought that if I buy the big name, that immediately that'll give me some legitimacy. And they didn't think about the long term, like making money, which ultimately is that's what you need to get to if you want to make your investors happy. So I don't know. All I see is a lot of overspending from every other MMA organization that comes out. They come out, they spend a bunch of money, and their investors get pissed and they tank and get bankrupt in 2-3 years. A lot of them. So UFC, they lapped everyone twice, and they're lapping everyone again. So there really is no really other game in town when it comes to MMA.
Yeah, your friend and teammate Corey Anderson was public about his frustrations. Patricia Pipple, Patchy Mix, Leandro Higo. It definitely feels like Bellator is just kind of fizzling out, and PFL will be there. And I don't know if that's healthy and good for the business, right? To just have 2 promotions and nothing really else. There's like the KSWs of the world and like the kind of regional European promotions, but nothing else. And so the days of Pride and UFC and Strikeforce and then Elite XC and IFL, it just feels like, I don't know if we ever get back to that, to be honest.
There'll be more. There's always more. I know personally there's one on the way. So next year there'll be there's another one, another viable option on its way with large funding that'll be here next year. They'll never end. It's just a matter of, do they strategically do the right things and spend their money the right way to have longevity. But just like in anything, even in fighting, the fighters themselves, only a small percent make all the money. You got to be elite. You got to be the best to make the money. If you're not number 1, number 2, number 3, you're just trying to get there, and you're just scraping along. It's the 1% that make everything, and that's the same thing in any realm of business, any realm of sports, athletics, everything. The 1% get all the money, and then the rest of the people just hope that their time comes.
Can I ask you about one championship? RDR, Renier de Ritter, saying recently, like, if you're a fighter considering them, don't sign with them, and they've let some American fighters go, like Mikey Musumeci and Sage Northcutt. What do you think of the state of one championship?
I don't. I have no clue. I got out of one championship 2 years ago because I wanted to come back to America, and I wanted to end my career here in America. So I don't know what's going on there. It seems like they're having a bit of a falling out. I couldn't tell you left from right when it comes to the promotion or what's going on. I've seen articles with guys pissed off about contractual stuff. But I myself, I did a good job there. I feel like I went there, I had my run there, and they were in my life for a short period of time, and then I was back here in America.
That's fair. One thing that I would love to see more from BKFC is bring in younger fighters and develop them. And I saw that you were a part of their tryouts recently. Was there a youth movement there? Because I feel like that's the one thing that they need to get on. It's not just not just be in the business of getting guys who are established stars. You have to build your own stars too to get people really on board. And so, what could you tell us about the tryouts?
Yeah, so and that's like growing pains, right? Like this is in Philadelphia, what you're showing here. 200 competitors showed up for the tryouts in Philadelphia, which was record-breaking attendance for Bare-Knuckle Contender Series. Not
Wow.
Contender Series, but Prospect Series. So 200 people showed up, and we had a vet, 200 guys. We end up picking, I believe, and interviewed 7 guys toward the end. And I think 6 or 7 of them will be fighting on the Philly card. So they got a pretty good, healthy handful of guys that are that look good, that are ready to fight and fighting and going to showcase on the Philadelphia card. So that went really well, and they never had a showing like that. Philly showed up huge for their Prospect Series, and all them kids were excited about the opportunity to fight at the Wells Fargo.
Are you? Sorry, go ahead.
No, but yeah, them kids, they're young kids, and they're excited about it.
Are you opening up your own gym? Is it? I saw that there's a grand opening on December 7th. Is that your own gym?
Yes, that's my gym.
Nice.
I partnered with Jim Worthington from the Newtown Athletic Club. We spoke about it for the last 5 years about the possibility and potential to have our own performance institute. And finally, it's manifesting itself, and it's open now. But we're having our grand opening December 7th. Frankie Eggert's coming down to help me out. We're gonna have a bunch of stuff, like competitions, the power punching competition. Some Impact Rap is joining us to kind of have some punching competitions on that end. There's a lot of like bounce houses, all stuff like that, things of that sort for kids. The grand opening is going to be amazing. It's going to be a packed house, and I'm looking forward to kind of teaching the next generation about fighting. So that's something I'll be able to move into in my later career.
I love the fact that you're doing this. I love the fact that you're so active with BKFC with the tryouts and whatnot. And it feels like you've kind of reached that sort of giving backstage to the sport, where you're the vet who's like looking to bring up the new generation, which I think is tremendous. Do you want to be a coach? Like, do you want to have a team? Like, do you want to be the next Mark Henry? I think Mark's trying to phase out of the game. Is that the next move for you at some point down the line?
Yeah, so I'd like to move into that. I'd like to have my own facility, number one. My sons wrestle for Council Rock South, and I'd like to have a facility for them to go to, for us to practice off hours and stuff. But number two, I want to build my own elite team, like on the lines of like an ATT or Kill Cliff, and I want to create a UFC champion. So I think it's one thing to be able to become a champion of a number of organizations like I've done. I've traveled the world and fought the best guys, and I have a lot to share. But I don't think there's anything better like that I could find out what to do for the rest of my life than to teach someone how to fight. And I feel like everyone should fight. I told my son, the idea of fighting for me is like suffering optimistically. And there's not a better way to go about the rest of my life than to helping people suffer more optimistically.
Suffering optimistically. I've never heard that before.
I think that would be awesome to do. I think everybody needs a little more than that, more of that, and more practice in that. And I would love to be a coach of that.
What do you mean? Can I just ask, what do you mean by suffering optimistically? Meaning your body goes through the ringer, but it's for good?
Yeah, fight's chaotic. It's and it's not comfortable. And I think much like life, it's not comfortable, and you're not going to be comfortable. And a lot of the stuff you feel is going to feel like suffering, but you have to do it with a hope, with an optimism, and go about it with a smile. And I think fighting has been like that for me. It's been the idea of that I'm going through something that maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable, but I know it's going to help me grow, and I'd like to do it in a way that I'd like to go through the process with a smile. And if someone could teach me how to do that or help me, change my perspective to do that more, then that person would be of value to me. And I want to do that for people.
I saw you even getting to a little politics in the build up to the election.
Yeah, me and my wife always been big Donald Trump fans. So like,
Just in general, okay. I didn't know.
It's not something new for us. Like we've been to plenty of rallies and things like that. And at the NAC at my gym, Jim Worthington is one of the largest fundraisers for the Trump campaign. So he helps out on that realm, and I kind of help use my influence the best I can, or did help to get President Trump elected.
He was at the UFC event. I'm just curious because he's always going to be linked to you. What did you think of Chandler Oliveira?
I think it was maybe I don't know what, but it's a poor showing for Chandler. Like maybe he got fixated on Conor too much, which Conor's a southpaw, a lot different sort of fighter than Oliveira, I guess. But maybe he got fixated on Conor too much for too long and wasn't able to adjust back to fighting Oliveira. I don't know, but it just looked like a poor showing. I've had him myself, so I'm not hating. It just looked like he could do better, and he didn't.
I just want to ask you this, and we'll let you go in a moment. But I think you're one of the best at breaking down fights. We just had Rampage on, and he said that he thinks that Stipe would be a tougher fight for John Jones than Tom Aspinall. I obviously disagree with that statement because I think Tom is tremendous and would give him a really tough fight. How do you see that fight going, if it happens?
I know why Rampage is saying that. Well, maybe you can correct me. I think Rampage is saying that because when I see the Aspinall fight, I just see John taking him down and doing what he likes to him on the ground, the same way he did like Cyril Gahn. I don't see John having a problem with getting Aspinall to the ground. And Aspinall is like a crazy dangerous threat standing up. He moves like a lightweight, crazy athletic, but none of that matters when you're on the ground. And I feel like that allure of Tom Aspinall being so great, the movement, the speed, the athleticism, all goes completely out the window when John rips him to the floor and submits him. So I don't, as powerful as Aspinall can be, if John rips that away, then we're just looking at something Cyril Gahn-esque that John did to him, which he proved that he can do that if he wants to go there. And I feel like he would go there. The fact that he's training with Gordon Ryan and the other wrestler, it's not coming to my head. Gable Stevenson and like heavy grappling based people, some of the greats. So I just don't see a reason why he would just want to rip Tom down and take away all his powers and just do what he wants.
I'm not going to argue with you, obviously, but did you know that Tom is actually a BJJ black belt, and that's his foundation, that's his base. He never shows it because his fights end so quickly, but that's actually like his introduction to martial arts.
Is a black belt in BJJ?
Yeah, his dad.
How's his wrestling?
Well, I'm just saying, like, once he gets to the ground, he's not going to be a fish out of water.
I don't care if you have a black belt. I'm more concerned with your wrestling.
Fair enough.
Because look, you get punched, you go from black belt to purple belt, and then you get punched again, and then you're a white belt. So I've submitted so many black belts after a few shots to the head that your black belt don't mean anything. It's what guy is going to get top advantage and be able to control the other guy on top. Wrestling means more to me than anything.
Okay, that's fair. I would love to see it. Do you think Pereira has a better chance against him?
No, I think John takes Pereira down the same way. I think both them guys, John's intelligent enough and has a lot of fight IQ to be like I'm just gonna wait for my shot to get him to the floor to submit these guys. But we'll see. We'll not. Who knows?
BKFC sold 5,200 tickets on the first pre-sale day last week. They're expecting a sellout 18,000 at Wells Fargo. They just had Boots Ennis at Wells Fargo, another beloved Philly fighter. Didn't sell 18,000, and I would say a lot of that would have to do with you. So kudos on that. And this will be your first time competing at Wells Fargo, right? Because your other one was at the Leah Chorus. Is it Leah Chorus?
Leah Chorus. Yeah, it's a dream. It's a childhood dream for me. So like we'll sell it out, and I'll finish whoever it is, whether Jeremy is there or I get a replacement or whoever my opponent is at Wells Fargo. I'll finish on the night of that fight and in front of a sold out arena, and it'll be storybook. It'll be absolutely storybook. I can't wait. And
just in case you didn't know,
are you coming?
I would like to go. I do some work for DAZN now. And I have thrown out, it's very close to where I live. It's about an hour and a half from where I live. I've never been to a BK event. It's a short drive. Don't have to go on a plane. I would like to be there. In fact, can I throw something out there, Eddie?
Yeah. Sure.
I've never been to a BKFC event. I've never covered. I've never had the pleasure of being at one in person. I don't know if you watched the Netflix card last weekend, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. My favorite thing to do is the in-ring interviews. And I don't want to take anyone's job. So if someone's already assigned to it, God bless. But if there's a chance, that would be a great thrill for me. If there's an opening, if there's a possibility with the DAZN deal now, and I do work for DAZN, that would be very exciting for me.
I will talk to Dave Feldman and see if we can make something like that happen. Hey,
But again, I don't want to take anyone's job. If someone has that already, I'm not trying to bump anyone out there. But to be in there with you guys after your sweat. I've done it a few times now, not as many as I would love. But there's no greater thrill than those immediate post-fight interviews in the ring, in the cage, etc.
You got to wear a raincoat though when you do the BKFC ones. They're not for the squeamish.
I know, especially for a germaphobe like me. But no, it would be an honor, absolutely. And by the way,
what are you doing December 7th? Can you come to my grand opening? Are you available? What are you doing on December 7th?
That is what day is that? Is that a Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
That is, I'll be flying home. I'm going to the MMA Awards, and then I'll be flying home on that day because of the pay-per-view. But let me see how far it is from my house, because I would love to bring my kids. Or do I have to be at the ground? No, I mean, I could just come bring them by one day if it's close enough.
I'll have you picked up. I'll get a car. I'll do whatever.
No, it's all right.
If you can get there, Ariel, I'd love to have you there.
That's very kind of you. I just wanted to mention that the modern combat sports attendance record in Philly is UFC 101, August 6, 2009, 17,411 at the Wells Fargo, then known as the Wachovia Center. So something to shoot for.
We'll beat it. I'll beat it. I think I'll beat it. I'm almost positive I'll beat that attendance record.
I love it. And still one of my favorite interviews ever was our walk around Kensington, and to see the love that you got and just to see where you grew up. Something I will never forget. So I know that you are ingrained in the DNA of Philadelphia, and I love that you're getting this opportunity. So thank you very much, Eddie. Much love, my friend. Good luck to you as you prepare for this fight, and can't wait for the 25th of January.
Thanks, Ariel.
Peace out. There he is. Good luck to you. The great Eddie Alvarez, the underground king, kind enough to join us. It's going to be quite the scene. So I was told there was a press conference tomorrow. I guess it's happening the following Tuesday. Looking forward to that, and curious to see what they put on that card, who they put on that card. DAZN does have a Thursday Misfits card this week, their super card in Qatar, and it's a classic Thursday Thanksgiving card, kind of like the old school WWE Survivor Series days when they used to have the pay-per-views on a Thursday, and they obviously have the Misfits January 18th, Darren Till, Tommy Fury card, and then this one on the 25th. In addition to everything else that they have coming up, December 21st, Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk 2, or should I say Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury 2, and a new program called Ariel Ade. Ariel and Ade? Ariel X Ade, the Ariel and Ade show. Have you guys heard about it? Episode 2.
Who, me?
Yeah, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll have the newest member of the Matchroom Boxing stable, George Kambosos, Jr. on the program to talk about signing with them, a potential fight against Liam Paro, who returns to the ring on December 7th. And Liam will join us, I do believe, next week. So a lot of exciting things happening here at the Uncrowned Network. You even get, while you watch the program, you get a little financial advice, I understand.
Even when you didn't ask for it.
Yeah, you just...
So let's just
stay on your toes.
Like I always say, working through the kinks, no one's fault. I make mistakes always. You guys are working your ass off back there. People think that we were hacked, which I don't want to give credit where it's not due. So people are like, oh my God, they were hacked. What exactly did happen?
This is the one case where the chat is actually right. We were completely No, we weren't hacked.
Oh.
It was just a crossing of wires of whatever was leaving these studios, and we've gotten to the bottom of it, and we'll make sure that doesn't happen again.
Right, we're not the only program that comes out of this building.
Yeah, so there is a financial show that is put on by Yahoo Finance. They do a great job. They have an incredible setup. And so is it, I mean, I'm putting this in the most simple terms. Did the wires just get crossed?
Yes,
Yep.
yeah. Quite literally, yes.
So I had the stream up. I just like to keep it up to make sure everything's okay. And then all of a sudden I saw a lot of activity and I was like, oh, wow, people are really loving this interview with Rampage.
Those weren't thumbs up.
No, they were just shitting on us in the back.
And I actually have to say that I feel bad for Frank because I feel like the first comment is, this is Frank's fault.
It's tough.
Don't feel bad. That's correct.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's entirely my fault.
Frank, was it your fault?
No.
Okay. I did notice that like the picture became weird.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
we can just debrief after the show.
Okay. I think actually people like this.
They deserve an answer.
Yeah, people like this.
That was the hack.
What was the answer?
The
What's
audio
the answer,
was
Frank?
not the hack. That was the hack.
Oh, what, is that? I can't tell if you're joking or not.
I am joking.
Okay. No. I do, like we don't have to hide this. Like things happen. So what happened?
That one we don't have as much
They're one and the
visibility
same.
to, yeah.
Same
but
signal
it is a similar situation.
We did put up a poll, and this is all Ant's fault, by the way. He was asking who was to actually blame for the hack.
Those fighting words.
Was Ant on the poll himself, or
no? But he
only
probably
everybody
should have
else?
been, given the fact that he's the YouTube guru.
Yeah, watching end to end, maybe flag it in real time.
Well, I could tell you that, like in our internal chat, the first thing that alerted me was Ant asking if we got hacked. So that kind of put the bug in my ear. I'm like, oh, geez, why do we have to go there, Ant? Geez. 57% blamed Frank, 25% blamed Rick, GC 0%, blameless.
0%?
Now
I don't know if that's good or bad because that means you really don't have influence on the show, I suppose. Like,
I just think it's.
I just make no mistake.
People are like, is he still in Georgia?
I think it just speaks to like the fact that you're the biggest baby face in the game.
He is the biggest baby face.
Yeah, what can I say, man? What can I say?
I just want to point out.
I can also confirm it was not my fault.
Someone just paid $1.99 to say if it's not Frank's fault, whose fault is it?
That's a good point.
Good
But
if we said the name, you guys wouldn't know.
also, am I the only one every time Frank speaks? There's like almost like a
big buzz.
No, like a smattering of talking underneath you.
Oh yeah, they're cracking up back here.
Oh no, I don't think that's it. It sounds like it's a financial show.
Oh god.
Fourth option, by the way, was 100% not Ant's fault.
At least I know what to invest in now.
Well, what were they talking about?
We don't know. We were
Portfolios.
not focused on listening.
The chat
on
kept
the
saying
financial
something
stuff.
about like Indian finances.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, what? Because at first I was like, are they saying that I'm of Indian descent or Rampage? I couldn't quite get it. And then all of a sudden, I realized after Ant's message that something had gone terribly
What if it
wrong.
was like a Don Davis interview or something? That would have been.
Oh my God, that would have been incredible. Like the PFL is trying to overtake us.
What if next time this happens, it's Don Davis from Yahoo Finance?
Which is
That would actually be a best case scenario.
Yeah,
Just
'cause
turn that joint up and pipe it in.
well, at least it's MMA content,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's
I also said
what the
next time.
people
There
want.
will not be a next time.
Yes, it's never happening again. Working through the kinks. We're working through the kinks. By the way, speaking of the PFL, they've got their finale this week. What day is that, by the way? Is that
Friday, Black Friday, all
Friday.
day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern kick. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Another early morning card. Do you like that? I know you're a big Black Friday guy. Do you like a morning Black Friday or do you
Ooh.
like an afternoon, evening Black Friday
Absolutely love it because if I'm not mistaken, there's 16 fights total on this one, but because
Jeez.
they're doing the MENA championships as well, so 10 fights.
Oh my gosh.
That could potentially go 5 5-minute rounds. So yeah, it starts at 9:30. We're probably not going to be in until 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern. So just have that on in the background whole time.
The Tapology page is insane.
It's insane, dude.
It's like it goes down like 5 scrolls.
And also, like, remember, PFL is not known for moving things along and keeping it brief. So I'm very curious to know how long this entire card is going to take.
You guys talked about it a little bit, and we can get into it as the week goes on. But it does feel like it's lacking. I mean, to me, the most interesting fight on the card is Dakota against Taila Santos.
Oh, no
just
doubt.
To see if she's, if she is ready for a step up like this.
If she finishes Taila Santos, it's like PFL really has the potential for a star on there.
Superstar.
The fights themselves are all good, but it is lacking the names. It is lacking the draw. But that is PFL's system, right? Bellator and Championship Series and all these other spin-offs have a different structure. They create the fights the way they want to create them. The tournament is the tournament. You get the fighters in it, and the results are what the results are. And so this is inevitably what a tournament format has. You cannot control who is fighting on the card. You get the championship level fighters from that year's tournament.
It just feels like there's usually like one, I don't know, a Kayla.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but this year the entrants are different.
Yeah.
Loughnane, Dakota, like you've got some names on there.
Loughnane is a big dog, man.
Loughnane a big dog,
Yeah,
and
Khizriev is undefeated.
He is on the show tomorrow, Brendan Loughnane. So we'll talk to him from Riyadh, going up against Timur Khizriev, who is 17-0. And Loughnane currently, according to our friends at Tapology, plus 240. Minus 300 for Timur. Impa Sangane, looking to get another big one. Looking to go back-to-back at 205 pounds. Magomed Umalatov, another 17-0 fighter going up against Shamil Musayev, 19-0-1.
That's 2 undefeated fighters going for $1 million. Like that's intriguing in itself. I know the name value is not there, but like it's still.
This is PFL's problem from
the jump.
From a decade. Like this is not new. This is their problem. That is why the rosters should have always been combined, and so we don't end up in the situation where on one half of the bracket, I'm not talking about the PFL tournament bracket, but on one half of the company on the PFL side of things, we've got a championship with fighters that are not necessarily big names, star power, and draws. And on the other side of the ledger, you've got Bellator fighters who are not getting fights and complaining and not being active. Like it is a worst of both worlds as opposed to a best of both worlds when you have the opportunity to just combine them and make the best of both worlds.
I referenced this with Rampage and with Eddie Alvarez, but there are a lot of Bellator fighters who are upset, and it's starting to become a bit of a snowball. And remember last week I was talking about this in the press release. It felt like the Bellator brand was being phased out, and I did reach out to the Bellator or /PFL brass about this and didn't get much back. But you had Patricio Pitbull put out I think it was 5 or 6 tweets about it, seemingly very frustrated. Here's one. He's quote tweeting Leandro Higo, who says, "This is very frustrating. This is Leandro. We have no clue about when we might be fighting after 2 fight cancellations in a row. Time is of the essence in this game. We can't waste our primes on the sidelines. I'm working hard to take that title, spending money, sweat, and blood. What's going on?" He was quote tweeting Patchy Mix, who I think kind of got this rolling. Patricio Pitbull says, if we can just go back to that. Okay, well, here's Patchy. All right, well, here's Patricio. I haven't fought since February. I wanted to fight 3 times this year, but I was told I'd have to wait until December 31st and found out online my opponent would fight someone else. Then they had a replacement. I bring people over, spend more money with the camp, and there's no fight. Here's Patchy Mix, who I think kind of got this rolling. I've been training my ass off for the last half year, and he's one of the best 135ers in the world. This is frustrating in the prime of my career. I've had my fight in November canceled. Then now again, I'm being told I'm off the January Dubai card. I'm the best in the world, and I want to fight to prove it. Corey Anderson also weighed in on this, aging like warm cheese over here, waiting for PFL to give me a call. But don't get it twisted. We still ready to defend the strap against anybody young or old, and still. Even the coach, Duke Rufus, weighing in on this. Anyone have any answers for the fighters at PFL, at Bellator MMA? So this isn't great. And this is what we feared, right? When they take over the other promotion. It's hard to run one promotion, let alone 2. And this is what I think we all feared. And that card in January feels like it's the phasing out process of the brand. And so do you bring in all these guys? Do you bring them in? But you got to pay them the same. And they all, like a lot of these guys were well paid by Bellator. A lot of them were very happy with their pay. And so I don't think they're going to want to take a pay cut. So this is a tough one. And I would say a lot of those names are some of the biggest names on the PFL/Bellator roster. Patchy Mix is arguably the best fighter on their roster. Corey Anderson is a top fighter as well. Sergio Pettis, Pitbull, Leandro Higo. Like these are the top guys that they have. So not a great situation. And maybe this week with them being out there and doing media and having, press days and whatnot, there'll be more on it. Obviously, the fighters who are competing this weekend are going to be happy with their situation, but you just don't like to see it. And they've had to cancel now the back end of their shows back into this year. So not a great situation. There was a new promotion that popped up over the weekend, and it was called Dirty Boxing Championship, headed up by Platinum Mike Perry. We found out about this launching in January, and they had their first show, and it was interesting because it did not air anywhere. They had it closed off, a black tie event in a sort of old school, like warehouse type of vibe. And I actually thought it looked great. It looked like a movie. It looked like old 1920s boxing. And Yoel Romero was in the main event, and he absolutely smashed it. Now, his opponent didn't appear to be high level, but here's Romero. Look at this guy jumping up like he's shot out of a cannon, and he freaking smashes it. The rules are interesting. You see he's wearing shoes. You could box, but you can use ground and pound. You can use elbows. And I believe that guy, there's Mike Perry, I believe, and there's John Jones, who was in attendance. It was an absolute beatdown. Perry's all fired up. I do believe that that guy was a former slap fighting guy or a current slap fighting guy, something like that. There was a beautiful Superman punch knockout as well that kind of went all over the place. There wasn't a lot going on Saturday because of the Macau card happening Saturday morning. So this was kind of being talked about a lot. Look at this knockout here. Damn. What do you guys think of the vibe at Dirty Boxing? What do you think of the look? GC, what do you think?
I mean, you nailed it. It looks like a movie. Like it looks like they should have been filming like a Creed or something in there. But I mean, I'm interested in it. I will obviously be more interested once it's broadcasted somewhere where you can watch it live. This kind of felt like just a lot of hype on social media for now, and something that's getting started. But yeah, I mean, it's intriguing. It's always intriguing when someone starts a new promotion with a different rule set.
I also think it actually, in retrospect, was kind of cool that they closed it off to the greater public. It kind of made it into a thing like, oh shit, like it's a little bit mysterious. It's a little bit exclusive. No, is that crazy?
No, I don't think that's crazy. And you got all the clips out there anyway. Like the Yoel Romero knockout went pretty viral, and then you got the Superman punch and stuff like that. So people were talking about it. People were chatting, and I think once they have a real broadcast, people will be interested in tuning in.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't have like an A-tier broadcast partner, what's the point? Like you could even keep it this way as a kind of an underground thing until you have that broadcast partner. Unless you have an opportunity to utilize your own platforms and you stream it on YouTube, for example, or somewhere else, or there's many platforms that you could do it on.
I know people were there, but was it invite only to get in?
Yes. No tickets. Yep.
It would be really interesting if they started doing tickets and like you could go and it was not broadcast anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, the only people who are watching it are the ones watching it.
Oh, yeah. And maybe that's the next step. I think they kind of just wanted to, as you may hear on this program, work through the kinks.
Does it feel like they, I don't want to say wasted, but like having Yoel Romero fight in a situation like that?
No, I mean, the guy that he fought, I don't think, you heard that, right? What's the name?
Like they could probably get Yoel back for another one.
Yes, and obviously the FRM guys are a part of this promotion. Malky, Abe, the other Malky Kawa. They got Adam Kovacs from formerly of Karate Combat on there as well. So I'm trying to find. They don't even have it on his page here. The name of the gentleman that he fought. I know I tweeted out the picture. Dwayne Crespo was his name, and I think he's a slap fighting guy. I mean, I would think why not have him a part of it. Platinum Perry said he would fight on one of the upcoming cards as well. We don't know if he's going to be on the January 25th card in Philly. Mike Perry, by the way, going to be on the show tomorrow. so we can ask him about this stuff. And looking forward to that, as always. I still can't believe the shape that Yoel is in at 47. It's absurd.
Insane.
And he was fighting at heavyweight, and he looked freaking shredded. This guy's fought all the way down at 185 and looked the exact same shredded.
I'm already laughing, thinking.
Did you
showed it, man? Dirty.
Yeah, I mean, I said it was fitting.
I'm already.
There only was one guy who was qualified to headline the first ever Dirty Boxing show, and it's the Dirty Boxing legend himself, Shorty Man, Dirty Boxing. I think we need to introduce that to the rotation, Frank.
We've actually got it.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we've got it. Not on the soundboard, but we've got it. Hold on. Wait.
Oh, we got the video.
Yeah, hold on.
I was talking about the...
No, but let's just
have you guys seen it?
Has
Pete seen it?
Has Pete seen it is the real question. We gotta
I don't know. Maybe he's watching now.
Find out.
Shorty Man, Dirty Boxing. He beat him one time.
So good.
It's perfect because it ends before you get to the good part, you know?
Yeah, no, it's a double. It's a double whammy.
Dirty Man, Dirty Boxing.
Yeah. Well, shout out to him. Congrats. I saw there was all kinds of drama with them and Karate Combat. I don't know what's going on over there.
I missed that. What was the drama?
Oh, God. You missed all of that?
I missed all of that.
You're very lucky.
Okay, forget it. Forget I asked.
There was all kinds of tweets between President Awesome and Maki Karate Combat saying they used one of the guys who was on their roster and they didn't get the proper clearance to use him.
Got it.
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what is going on? There were all kinds of wacky events going on this weekend. I was at the mall, the American Dream Mall, with my kids on Friday, and all of a sudden I see a ring in the middle. I see an actual ring. Well, not really in the middle. It was actually, as fate would have it, okay, there's actually a couple of as fate would have it moments. It was right next to H Mart, which we talked about
Shout out.
last week.
Did you pick anything up while you were
Yes,
there?
I got a spicy tuna little triangle thingy.
Oh, nice, with the rice. Or
Yeah.
Wrapped in seaweed?
Yeah.
Did you bring it in for us?
You know the one that you like rip the thing down and then...
Yep. Those are delicious.
Got a couple of those, actually. My kids love it there. And so I got that. And then we went back and got more. And then I see Liz Carmouche there randomly. I'm not sure why. But it was great to see her there. And I said hello to her. And I haven't seen her in a while. And then I see a ring. And there was just like a ring set up. And it was a GCW ring. They're a very popular promotion. I was like, what the heck is this? What's going on? And they tell me they're having a show the next day, meaning Saturday. I was there on Friday. And Kurt Angle was going to be there. And Mick Foley was going to be there. And some of their stars, they're very popular. The likes of Mark Ramundi likes to go to these. I think Casey as well, our old friend Casey Leiden. And I tried to convince my kids to go on Saturday, but they didn't want to go. Anyway, I was wondering how it was going to look, and I looked on social media, and it was actually pretty cool. They had the actual event. Here's Ricky Starks showing up, and this was a big surprise. And I was wondering, like, could you just be walking around like you're going to Louis Vuitton or Walgreens, and then all of a sudden, like, look at this guy. He's like, yeah, what's up? This kid's going to, get some new clothes from Foot Locker, and there's Ricky Starks in the white showing up in the mall, and it's just happening. American Dream is someplace. Look at this. This was a big surprise, apparently, him showing up there, and I think some people think he's going to WWE or something like that. Wasn't quite following all of it. But GC and I were just talking about American Dream. Look what they're doing there at American Dream. They're having actual wrestling events. Now, do we think
they
he actually
do everything there? It's crazy.
Yeah.
I saw they had curling championships there once. It's the place is nuts.
Yes, they did have curling championships last year. Do you think he actually went to Louis Vuitton to buy something or just asked for the bag?
Oh, I just asked for the bag.
Yeah, it's still a cool look.
Put his merchandise on.
Did anybody do a spot off the second floor?
No, but I'm still unclear. I think
I'm
they
a sicko. That's where my head went.
Well, they were selling tickets, but like you see people standing up top there.
I was thinking somebody.
Yeah, how can? Yeah, I don't know how they could monitor.
Yes,
like who?
Like it's a gigantic place.
Yeah, it's massive.
I think it's kind of brilliant though. The one thing that mall is lacking, it's the biggest mall in North America. It's bigger than the Minnesota Mall. It's bigger than the Edmonton Mall.
It's bigger than Mall of America.
Yeah.
I always thought it was number 2.
No, it is bigger.
This is the one that Action goes to, right?
Yeah, he does surfing. Yeah,
he does the surfing there.
lessons.
He does the surfing there, and not only that, they've got every single store under the sun. It's truly remarkable, but they don't have a movie theater, which I find very. Yeah, no, keep going.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I find that very, very weird. How do you not have a movie theater? They have a whole like top floor that has nothing there.
Movie theater next to food court is always the mall key. Like that's what you need to do.
Have you been there?
I've never been there. No.
Frank, have you been there?
No.
Only GC, huh?
It's kind of a Jersey thing. Right?
Yeah, I'm a New Yorker.
No, but it's like it's right over the bridge.
You stay in the city.
I'm on the other side.
You guys stay in the city for sure.
It's got
Out in Amity.
They even have a ski hill.
Yeah, that first time I ever went, I didn't know what all was there, and when I saw the ski hill, like not only do they have the ski hill, then they have like the ski resort restaurant and bar next to it that's like built like a ski lodge. It is absolutely insane. And they have a water park and roller coasters and theme rides and every store you can imagine, and place is nuts.
This makes it even more crazy to me that they don't have a movie theater. They have all this, but not a movie theater? How is that possible?
Well, I have good news, guys. An 8-screen movie theater is slated to open at American Dream Mall in East Rutherford with a date yet to be determined.
Oh, wow.
270-degree panorama in each theater.
That's pretty sick.
They do it big over there. You know what? I might make the trip out. We'll go watch a movie.
It feels like a major miss. Yes, let's go on a movie excursion.
I'm in.
It feels like a huge miss. Like I feel like they can have the greatest. Yeah, you guys want to do it?
No, I will not be taking part in that.
Why?
I have a movie theater right down the street from me.
I accept the invite, Ariel. I'll be there.
I would love to go.
You would.
I'm in. Let's go. Me and Frankie are showing up. We'll go surf and then we'll go watch a movie.
In fact, I did a first. I purchased movie tickets a week in advance. Never done this before. In fact, this is a big deal. You can now buy movie tickets and get reserved seating.
Welcome to 2016.
I was gonna say, welcome to.
You can pick and choose where you sit a week in advance. This is incredible.
Did you know there's like a line you can wait in to get popcorn as well?
Nah, that's crazy.
Actually, you know
they
that,
can
like,
bring it to your seat now.
All movie theaters are reserved seating now.
Really?
Not all, but like the vast
what a difference.
99%.
Because it used to be the thing like, get there 20 minutes early.
No more.
And you don't know. So this is incredible. And I couldn't believe it. A friend of mine said, we're going to go see Moana 2. And I was like, that's a brilliant idea on Friday. And then I started looking at all the theaters, and they're like 75% full already a week in advance.
That is the problem, right? You used to be able to hack it by showing up, and then you could get online first. Now you have to be purchasing first. That's the new.
Let's get you on the AMC A list.
I'm on that, Stubbs.
Remember that time I invited you to the Alamo Draft House for my birthday?
Nah, there was no birthday.
All right.
Yeah, he actually did.
Frank just said okay, and he's done. He's done now.
A birthday party?
Yeah, it was Shogun Assassin like 3 years ago. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm not
bitter.
bitter.
It was May of 2022.
So I actually was gonna text Frank about D-Box. What is D-Box?
So that's the one where like it vibrates.
Yeah.
You got my take on that, right?
Oh yeah, it was on that because there was several things. It was like
I don't even know what D-Box is myself.
Yeah,
I go to the movies a lot. What is
Let Ariel
What theater are you going to? Regal, AMC?
Not the one
I'm an AMC.
Alamo?
No, I think it's is it AMC? Anyway, I learned that D-Box is like a thing where it's like haptic seats.
Oh, it's like 4D.
4D, yeah.
4D, they call it.
And
enjoy that, man. That's gonna be great.
Is it bad? Are you?
No, it's good.
Because Frank, because I was like, guys, I got D-Box tickets, and Frank was like, yeah, it sucks, not worth the price.
Asked our opinion.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
you know, the first
it's
time I
designed
used
for
D-Box
middle-aged men
was
for sure.
Tron Legacy. I'm pretty sure that movie came out in like 2011. So
yeah,
it just enhances your experience. It's great. You'll love it.
Feel like a vibrating chair.
You'll love it. For
and
sure.
an expensive.
It's right up your
movie
alley.
ticket.
It has like some
so ominous. Do you see just
shaking chair.
Yeah,
water. Like Moana's gonna like rip a sick wave, and it's just gonna.
Your kids are gonna.
Water's
be like,
just
Daddy,
gonna go in your face.
So good. Yeah.
Isn't that what they have at the Sphere?
That's a good question.
I don't know. Never been.
Well,
no.
I think that's what they
invite to that.
Yeah. I think that's what they said that in the press release, that it was like haptic seats and all that. Anyway,
I think it sprays like a perfume too. Let's call it the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna go see it? Yes,
Moana?
yes. I've seen
Absolutely.
it a zillion times.
Confession, I still haven't seen
You
Moana.
need to see that with the kids. I actually tried to go see Wicked yesterday, and every seat was sold out.
Yeah,
Couldn't-
you and
couldn't
half
get
the
in.
planet apparently. This done so well in the.
Has it done well?
Yeah, super well.
Gladiator 2 as well.
Is
Gotta
it
go
about
see that.
is Wicked about the Is it Wicked Witch of the West?
Prequel to the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Yeah. Wow.
I'm surprised Rick wasn't first in line.
I still haven't seen the musical, and I have a gift certificate to Broadway.com, so I think I might just go see the musical if it's still playing.
Didn't you say that it's the best movie of all time?
Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like that. I don't even think that's like a crazy take. That's like
So good.
super obvious take.
Is Wicked in black and white as well, and then it fades to color at a certain point?
I guess the whole thing would be in black and
Yeah,
white
'cause
because
it's
it's
the
a
prequel,
prequel.
right?
Yeah.
Oh God, really?
What a mess.
Yeah.
Who is it? Ariana Grande in that?
Yep.
I saw her in the co-star. They were the ones that no sold me at the Olympics on the red carpet.
yeah.
So I'm not watching that. I can't.
They were trying to memorize their lines for Wicked.
Right.
They were just distracted.
By the way, speaking of pro wrestling, what about your boys, the Rizzler and company at AEW this weekend? What about them? I mean, that was gigantic. A huge success for All Elite Wrestling. You had the Rizzler as the timekeeper, and then you had, who is it? Big Justice?
Yeah.
And
Big Justice and AJ.
AJ, that's right. Here's the Rizzler coming out with the Big Show. Look at this guy. He's so cute.
Oh, there's
And look at
there's
the
Big
spear.
Justice with the spear.
The spear, excuse me. What did I say? Spear.
Double chunk chocolate cookies on the pants. Boom on the ass. Boom on the knees too.
Yo, they got a huge pop. Look at him. He's doing the mew. Is he mewing?
Yeah.
That's what my kids say. In any event, I tweeted like, are they the are they more over than 75% of the roster? People viewed that as a knock on the roster. I was just saying like it's crazy how popular these guys are.
They are legit mainstream right now.
I saw somewhere that like them winning on AEW was like the third most popular wrestling clip ever posted on social media.
That's crazy.
Like only behind Undertaker at WrestleMania, and then some other dude at NXT this summer.
Yeah, somebody's NXT debut.
John Henley or something.
I saw that.
I believe in John.
Oh, Hendry.
I believe in John Hendry.
Wait, that's bigger than this?
I don't know.
number
But
one
it took me down
on
a
the list,
rabbit hole of whoever the hell John Hendry is. Like,
Yes.
he like sings his own songs. I believe in John Hendry.
So what do you think? Is this? I mean, is there a higher ceiling, or is this it?
Flavor of the month type thing. It feels like
Month?
right?
It feels like a few months.
Flavor
Higher
of the
ceiling
year.
for who? For AEW or
No, for these
the,
guys.
The Costco.
How much
guys?
bigger can they get? I mean,
I
they've
don't
been on
know.
Fallon. They've been on AEW.
That's true.
Are they going to betray AEW and go to
I was just
WWE and
gonna
start a
say.
whole new storyline?
Or what if the Rizzler turns heel?
What if
on the dudes, on the other guys?
What if it makes sense? It would
I
make
mean-
sense. They are not family. They are not related.
The next
Yeah, I
picture
found
we
out
get-
about that. I thought they
Yeah.
were all one big
No,
Nah.
schpa.
Is that wait?
Nah,
Hold on.
That's confirmed.
You confirmed it? You looked it up?
I confirmed
You
it. yeah.
confirmed
He
it.
is the Rizzler is not related to
Not their cousin?
Adrian.
I thought he was their
Nah,
cousin.
Nope. No. He's just a social media guy.
I want to see the picture of Triple H shaking the Rizzler's hand.
Oh my
I
god,
want to see
it's good
that.
for business.
They went to a
good.
Knicks game? Like they are
They played in the Knicks celebrity game. It's like them and Stephon Marbury and Jamal Crawford.
Ooh,
heroes.
I mean, that is
Yeah.
And Evan's correcting me. Joe Hendry, my man.
Joe Hendry.
For fuck's sake. Sorry, man.
Yeah, isn't that what I said?
No,
I think
Connor
I said John.
something.
That's what I heard.
Oh, I heard.
I originally said John Hendy. Joe Hendry.
Anyway, your boys were
Killing it, dude. They're on fire.
people love them.
Yeah, Costco guys.
I want to know if Costco is actually signing these guys to a deal because I think they brought more positive press to Costco than.
All right, here's an argument. Costco almost never has any negative press. They just do everything right.
That's a good point.
point.
So maybe they don't need the boys.
They keep the hot dogs low. They keep the chicken bakes low. The gas is low. Membership stays at $60 a year.
I think I would make the argument if I was Costco that they grifted on our stuff to get their popularity, so we owe them nothing.
Has Costco
They
ever
owe us.
acknowledged them?
That's
I would
the thing.
actually love it if they
would know
never
better than
had.
me.
If they've never,
They've got to
acknowledged
give them
them.
free food, right? I mean,
Maybe
that
like a
has-
free membership at least.
Hold
you
on,
know,
is
something.
Costco not on any social media? Never mind. I found them.
They've got to give them like the free pizza and.
Oh,
the
they've
free
never
wings.
tweeted.
They show up with like,
Costco has 0 tweets.
That's when you know you're next level.
they show up like the at Chipotle with like the special gold card. They show up and get the cookies and the pizza and everything. I don't know. I don't think they need it. I don't think they need to do it.
How are they making money then? These guys, TikTok?
Oh, how are they making money?
Yeah, like
They just were on
TikTok.
10,000
Yeah,
different
sure.
television shows. They're promoting their stuff.
That's a good point.
They're also not doing. I would imagine they're not doing AEW for free, right?
No, of course not. But I wonder what that deal is. Like, does the Rizzler get X amount? Does the other dude get X amount?
The Rizzler is raking it in.
Set for college now.
By the way, how old is the Rizzler?
I think he's like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I think his real name's like Christopher Joseph. Teenage years are going to be something for the Riz.
Yeah.
I mean, they are pro wrestling. Like, the whole thing is pro wrestling, you know? Like, the character thing is
all right. I've scrolled all the way back to last year on Costco's Instagram, and I see nothing of AJ Big Justice or the Rizzler.
Yeah.
Though I don't think the Rizzler is actually a Costco guy. I think he's a separate entity. I think he's just the Rizzler, and then you have the Costco guy.
How are you guys keeping up with
how is he related?
It's the whole Boomiverse. There's AJ Big Justice, the mom, the sister, the Rizzler. They have cousins in there. They've come out with like multiple songs.
So is Costco not the unifying theme? It's actually just the Boom, but isn't the Boom based on the Costco review?
They are the Costco guys, yeah. And then their scale was invented originally for the double chunk chocolate cookie and the chicken bake.
But then
the
where
Boom
did the
scale
Rizzler
came into? I swear I saw an interview with AJ, the dad, and he was just like, yeah, I saw the Rizzler on social media, and he was like, we got to get this guy in the crew. So they brought him on.
What a genius
That is so amazing.
I mean, he's killing it.
He's a former pro wrestler.
Yeah, he's like tried to do this before. He did like a YouTube
yeah.
family vlog thing that never really took off. Like dreams are finally becoming a reality for him.
What about this guy who was kind of like an indie scene wrestler, and now all of a sudden, after doing this Costco thing, is getting to be on the second biggest promotion on pay-per-view in front of a sold-out. Like, talk about using something completely different to then cross over and actually realize your dream. Because one would think that the dream was at one point, and I see them on like all the big shows, right? You mentioned Fallon, but like all throughout the week, they were on news shows and morning shows and stuff like that. It's great. And just to be clear to the AEW crowd, I wasn't shitting on the roster. I guess it might have been taken that way. I do think you guys could be a little bit sensitive sometimes. There's a hair on my microphone. I was just saying, like, holy shit, these guys just showed up, and I didn't really know of them other than Rick and GC, and the kid got a massive pop for the spear.
I mean, dude, he's doing ads with like KSI and Logan Paul for Prime. Like, he is all over the place, man. He might be the hottest celebrity out right now.
I was gonna say, I think Rizzler's like the #1 celebrity in America.
He's the number one. He's the number one celebrity for chronically online people.
Mr. Beast.
Who's bigger?
Because imagine if you went somewhere and you tried to be like, so you guys know the Costco guys and the Rizzler, and people are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. You would sound like an insane person.
That was
what people mean when they're like, I got that Riz. Are they making a reference to Rizzler?
No,
I don't know what the Rizzler is.
No, the Rizzler has charisma, i.e., his name. Shorten it. Drop the cut.
What is his real name?
Riz, add the lur.
What's his real name?
I think it's like Christopher Joseph or something.
Don't break kayfabe.
His real name's the Rizzler. We only address
Christian Joseph.
And how old?
Chris Joe. Let's see if we can get a Rizzler DOB over here. This says April 19, 2016, so that means he's 8. He's from New Jersey.
Shout out.
Try and do a collab with
My
him.
daughter just turned 7. She could have been the Rizzler.
Could have been in there as the guest timekeeper.
People are saying...
What are the people saying?
Was the Rizzler really born the same day Lil Peep died?
What the?
It's a viral reincarnation conspiracy theory.
Wow.
I don't know.
I mean, he's the biggest thing going right now.
AJ Bifumo?
Yeah.
Shout out. All right.
Is,
well, it seems all very
48.
innocent and wholesome. So good on them. And GDP, right? Get that paper? That's what they say.
Look at those purple lights on the Empire State Building.
Look great.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. Why do you think it's purple?
I have no idea. I was hoping you would.
Probably because of that financial advice.
Yes. Like the city has now benefited from
Yes. Empire State. Let's see. Purple lights. It appears to be. What does it mean when the Empire State? Well, they did it back in 2022 to honor the life and legacy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, but I don't think that's...
They're still showing the respect.
Yeah.
It's usually up to date on their Twitter, but they haven't posted anything about like, why they have certain lights.
Maybe an employee was just like, I feel like purple today, and no one was there to stop them because they're on vacation.
They also illuminated it in violet in tribute of NYU's class of 2024, but that was in May.
Well, they still succeeded in graduating,
Sure.
right?
No. By the way, have you seen the Venture Brothers? Have you guys seen the Venture Brothers?
Yeah, from a few years ago, right?
GC, have you seen the Venture Brothers?
No, I don't know who these guys are. Okay. I was just reading an article about Big Boom AJ wrestled with a broken foot.
Shout out.
That might have been one of the best athletic performances of all time. Who are the Venture Brothers?
I don't know. Someone says
Ventura Brothers?
Someone says that you look like Dr. Venture from the Venture Brothers. Super chatter, metal-faced gamer.
Says who does?
You do.
Oh, God. Which one? The bald one? God damn it.
Someone else says that...
GC, I get told I look like I have gout. So, I mean,
well,
I
actually,
you're getting off all right.
Actually, someone else said that the Empire State Building is purple in honor of Gout Awareness Month.
There we go.
There we go. I've had literal doctors emailing me about gout. Like, this has taken a life of its own.
The Discord was not happy this morning. I mean, they weren't like, oh, you guys can't make jokes about gout, but they were like, it isn't funny while you're in the middle of an episode.
Oh, jeez.
They were exchanging stories of like their pain. So,
oh no,
no, we are there in solidarity.
Frank is the most gout sensitive person on earth.
No,
like some grace, some sensitivity, please.
Yeah,
we support.
I'm looking at the Venture Bros guy. I mean, do I really look like him? Just because I'm bald? I mean, he has a goatee and glasses.
It is the
turtleneck.
prerequisite. Like, you couldn't have long hair and then someone would be like, yeah, you look like him.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about lookalikes. I got the homeboy from MasterChef, professional MasterChef.
Oh, that was incredible. Yes, I saw that.
I DM'd him. His name is Gareth Crimmins. And I DM'd him just because I was like, everybody's telling me I look like you. Shout out to you. You're a very handsome man.
Did you really?
He's the head chef of Heaney's in Cardiff. And yes, I absolutely did DM him.
Did
he
he write you back?
He didn't. I mean, I don't know if I'm famous enough to be with the Master Chef guy, but
who made the gout? Who made the gout emoji on the chat?
GC,
our design team.
Oh wow, I think it's probably the most used one since last Thursday.
Yeah, I mean it's probably our best one.
Shout out to my brothers and sisters suffering with that gout.
When I got in today, I said, I think today's show will probably go to like 4:01, and Jordan was like, sick.
He's already left.
To be, man.
He's already left. So that is probably our sign to say goodbye. Like I said, Platinum Perry on tomorrow, Brendan Loughnane on tomorrow, and the great, much talked about, Rosie Perez on tomorrow.
New York icon.
Words that start with the letter. Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't catch this.
Words that start with the letter
Q.
Q. That's right. You know White Man Can't Jump. Billy, you're so stupid.
Yeah. What's your second favorite Rosie Perez movie?
Sometimes when you win, you really lose. And sometimes when you lose, you really win. And sometimes when you win or lose, you really tie. Second, Do the Right Thing, bro.
Were you a big fan of In Living Color?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
You really think I don't know about Do the Right Thing? That might be her all-time best. I think White Man Can't Jump was her all-time best, but Do the Right Thing is freaking legendary. Have you seen Do the Right Thing?
No.
You were trying to catch me in a moment of not knowing any other Rosie Perez movies.
We can see IMDb reflecting.
Me and Rick got caught in that when we were watching the broadcast.
Do the Right Thing.
We were like, legend, absolute legend. And I was like, what else is she in other than White Man Can't Jump? And Rick was like,
Admittedly, I know her more as her New Yorkness than I know her for her filmography.
Legend, though.
Do you guys... okay, first of all, did you see Do the Right Thing?
No.
Did you see the White Man Can't Jump remake?
No.
It was a remake?
I did not see the remake, actually.
I didn't see it either. Some rapper guy was in it. Not...
Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow. Wow, for real?
Yeah.
Jack Harlow made a remake of White Man?
Jack Harlow is the white in The White Man Can't Jump.
He's the Wesley Snipes.
He's the Woody Harrelson.
Who's the Wesley Snipes character?
Oh, now I have to finish this.
You said the white. He's the
he's the white guy.
He's the white.
He's the white man.
Who's the Wesley Snipes in this?
That's a great question. It got a 5.
And is it a Wesley Snipes? Are we?
It got a 5.2 on IMDb.
26%. It got a 26% on.
I won't be watching. I will not be watching.
Could be a cult.
Just started a Bourne trilogy last night for the first time ever. Wow.
Is it good?
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Big Matt Damon.
Matt Damon is a beast.
You've never seen the Bourne trilogy?
Seen it, no. I always wanted to read it, and then
I mean that was a clear layup to you to just be like, dude, you haven't seen the Bourne trilogy.
Who, me?
I've only seen the first one.
Did you guys know that movie that Rampage was talking about?
Yeah, the A-Team.
No. No, he was talking about Neo.
Yeah,
The Matrix?
Heard of
What
it.
the fuck? Yeah, dude, stop.
Heard of it.
In fact,
Stop. One of the greatest
we
movies
weren't
ever
having
made.
audio issues. I would have been embarrassed.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
one of the greatest movies ever made.
The truth is, I was so focused on the audio issues that I didn't hear what he had said. No, I really have
No,
not.
that hadn't happened.
No, I have never seen The Matrix.
I encourage you to see it.
I think you would enjoy
quite
it.
a great movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it. I gotta say, I'm tired of this 4:45 getting dark stuff. I've had enough of it.
Yeah, we haven't even got to the shortest day of the year yet.
Oh, when is that? The winter solstice?
Yeah, I think December 21st.
Golly, it's awful.
But once we get there, we're just climbing back.
That's a positive spin on it all.
Yeah.
December 21st?
Yeah.
Usyk Fury 2.
Can't wait.
What is with all the lights behind you? Is the city celebrating something? Is this just the...
I hope that these lights...
It looks like a very pink sunset. It looks great.
I hope that these lights stay on tomorrow because when we did the Ade show last week, they were off and it just was black. It was darkness.
Any lights are on right now.
You
I think that's the sunset.
Serious?
Yeah. Every building just happening to be pink. Come on, it's the sunset.
No, but the lights in the building were off.
I see one. Yeah, I only
Right,
see
but-
one.
At least
The
keep
light
them
is reflecting off the windows. It is not. Those are not lit up. Like
We don't think those rooms are lit up right now?
Just go buy all the apartments.
Oh, we're screwed.
Stay there.
Can someone call them and let them know?
Yeah, we'll just go knock on the doors.
Yeah. Do you mind turning your lights on for the Ariel Ade show?
I mean, this would be fine.
The
This would
Ariel
actually
Ade
be
show. I'm watching right now.
It's actually getting darker and darker as we speak. This would
Crazy
be
how
fine.
time works.
Yeah, it
The
is.
sun is actively setting.
Well, this time tomorrow, the show will be starting. So this would be if they could just keep it like this. Can we take a screenshot of this and put it in front of the window, and then it will be a fake window? No.
It's a lot of steps in there.
Yeah, it's a lot of steps. Anyway, great day. Thank you very much to all our guests. Thank you to Chris Weidman, Rampage Jackson. Thank you to the Financial Show. Thank you to Eddie Alvarez as well. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to them. Back on Tuesday, same time and place until I say peace. I'm out.